Welcome to The Show Off, the podcast where we make each other sit down, shut up, and watch episodes of our favorite TV shows and then explain, or be forced to listen to, why it's top-tier television. This show is for anyone who has ever wanted to go on endless tangents about their favorite shows, but their friends and family don't want to hear it. We get it. Ditch those losers and come hang out with us instead. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Kampy.
And this is The Show Off.
Previously on the Show Off podcast.
Our next theme episode pick.
Yes.
So we have been doing animated shows.
Yes.
I have been looking forward to this topic, this
Yeah.
theme, for a very long time. We are going to be watching Over the Garden Wall. The show starts with two brothers
Okay.
lost in the woods,
Okay.
trying to find their way home. We are going to be watching episode 2,
Okay.
Hard Times at the Huskin Bee.
Okay.
And we are going to be watching episode 4, Songs of the Dark Lantern.
Yeah.
I was so stoked.
All right. Over the Garden Wall.
Over the Garden Wall.
How the gentle wind beckons through the leaves as autumn colors fall.
Well, we're recording, so. What
Do you want
think of one?
Do you want to do, are you watching anything right now?
I
currently?
am.
Yeah, let's do that. What we're watching right now.
Okay, yeah. What are you watching right now? Wait, first of all, hello.
Hello.
We're just so excited to get
Yeah.
started. What are you watching right now?
I have been watching a string of K-dramas. I'm in the K-drama mode. That's kind of how it goes with me. It's like I just get sucked in for like maybe a month or 6 weeks or something,
Yeah.
and just like jam through like 2 or 3 of them, and then I'm like, okay, I'm good for a while.
I get that.
So yeah, I'm watching one right now that's called Alchemy of the Soul or something like that. Yeah. And it's like magical kind of, but it's also like a historical piece.
Ooh. Like what time period?
I don't know what dynasty, it is in Korea, but like everybody's wearing like the traditional like hanbok attire, and actually, yeah, all the costumes actually are really beautiful. Like that's one of my favorite parts of the show. Ooh. And yeah, it's like all the traditional looking like houses and et cetera, et cetera. So, and like, there's also sword fighting and that kind of thing.
Sword fighting?
Yeah, so sword fighting, and there's also like mages. So
This sounds like a lot of fun.
people can do magic. Yeah, it's fun. It's super fun. It's a
So
little...
is it a rom-com show or more drama? Just
there-
drama?
There's a romance part to it, but it is more focused on like the overall drama in the story.
Okay.
It's too complicated for me to get into, but I am enjoying it. It's a little slow. It's like dragging on a little bit. At one point, I like looked to see how many episodes there are, and there are 30 episodes, which is really long for a K-drama.
Wow.
Most
how long are
K-dramas are like 12 to 16 episodes.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, and then like they're done. That's how they roll over there. I don't know why, but very few K-dramas have like more than one season. It's usually like a self-contained miniseries.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. So I'm watching that. I watched one before that called Tomorrow, and that was also very interesting. It was about, and also kind of magical, it's about Grim Reapers. And actually the concept of it I love, which is like the afterlife is like has like a government, and the Grim Reapers are like organized. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they have like different
like
teams.
Bureaucracy.
Yeah. They have different teams and like team leaders of those teams, and the different teams.
I love it and I hate it. I
Yeah,
hate
exactly.
it because I'm getting like work PTSD, but I love it.
Yeah, but I kind of like the concept. Like, it's fun. The different teams handle like different aspects of death and the afterlife. So the team that we follow is actually a newly created team that was created to handle, and this is very socially relevant in Korea, the growing number of suicides.
Oh.
So it's interesting. Like they actually are trying, it's a show that's very socially aware of itself.
Wow. Yeah.
And like handling a very serious topic, obviously. But it also had like this really awesome, like historical sort of drama aspect to it. Because the Grim Reapers are like human, like people who used to be humans, and then they died, and then they like signed up to do this or got drafted somehow. It's kind of unclear. But yeah, 2 of our main characters were also from like some older Korean dynasty.
Well, that's gotta be fun, having characters from different eras interact.
Yeah, and then there's like a new guy who's from like our era, and there's another guy who's from like somewhere in between there. Yeah, that was really fun. Had a really, really good slow burn romance that actually didn't like go anywhere in the end, but like I was okay with it, which is hard to pull off, I think. Yeah. It ended on like a very like
if anything, hats off to the writers for that.
Right. It was like all the secrets were revealed, the full story came to light kind of a thing. Yeah, the story ended well, but it wasn't like a happily ever after kind of situation. So I did kind of like that, but it also kind of like left the door open for... It was a show to me that I was like, this definitely could have had a second season, and I would have watched the shit out of it.
It's never going to happen, though.
Probably not. Probably not.
It's just, there for the fans to have their own canon. And
yeah, for real.
I mean, go onto an archive of our own and go crazy.
Yeah, exactly. That's fun, too. So, yeah, that's kind of been what I've been watching lately.
Cool beans.
Yeah. What about you?
So, I'm on a true crime kick again.
Ooh.
So, mostly watching YouTube videos.
Okay.
But I have been branching out.
Okay.
Into new shows. So, the current new one that I'm watching is Letterkenny.
Oh, that rings a bell. Why do I know that?
I'd always I had the same reaction.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, I feel like I've heard of this.
Yeah.
But I don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
And it just kept popping up on the Hulu recommended. And I was like, fuck it, I'll try it. And it's just Canadian farmers being super Canadian.
Okay.
And it's very funny. It's very, snappy dialogue.
So it's fiction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's the fictional town of Letterkenny. There are
Gotcha.
5,000 people who live there. These are their problems.
Okay.
So it's a bunch of small town people problems.
Yeah.
Very comedic, though.
Yeah.
Very eccentric, weird characters.
Yeah.
Which I love.
Yeah. What's the style?
It's... I don't want to call it mockumentary because it's not.
I was gonna say it sounds like a show that could be.
It kind of opens that way. Every single episode starts with the main character Wayne talking to the camera and always so you were with your pals the other day. It's and it
was that your Canadian accent?
That's my best attempt. It leads into a whole thing that happens.
Yeah.
And then it cuts back to him speaking direct to camera, and there's a punchline.
Right.
And then from there it's just a normal show. There's no more mockumentary style to it.
Oh, okay.
So it's only the opening when he's speaking direct to camera. Otherwise it's just comedy.
Interesting.
With lots of very snappy dialogue. I mean, I have to watch it with the subtitles on, and even then so much of it goes over my head. Because it's just fast.
It's fast.
Yeah.
Ooh, I do.
And the characters just constantly bounce off each other. I don't know how they write it. It's so well done.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so that's been fun.
And is that a show that's done?
It's done now.
Okay.
Yeah, it's let me look it up because I keep looking it up. Oh my gosh, I watched an episode yesterday. I'm on season 5. I watched an episode yesterday that was made in 2016. Never mind, I take all that back. The season came out in 2016.
Okay.
And there's 12 seasons total, so I think it just...
Oh, wow.
It only, just ended.
Wow.
2023.
That's a long run.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's got incredibly high ratings, and I think it's earned. So, I highly recommend it if you're looking for a comedy.
Good to know.
Otherwise, rewatching What We Do in the Shadows again.
Nice.
This is my 3rd time watching the show.
Have you just since the beginning of this year, right?
Yeah. When you find something you like.
It's just your 2025 obsession. I respect it. I respect it.
And, I watched another new show, but I'm not telling you about that one yet.
Because it may come to a future show off near you.
Yes, it might.
Ooh. Love to hear it.
Yeah.
Love to hear it.
Which is why I keep saying our next theme pick. I don't want to spoil it.
Oh, really?
Do I spoil because I already know what I want to do.
I mean, have we decided?
I've decided.
Okay. All right. I mean, up to you if you want to spoil it.
Okay, well, I really want to do short form comedy or sitcom as our next theme.
That will be more challenging for me than it will be for you, but I can figure it out.
And then you'll get to hear about the other show that I'm watching. Lots of comedies lately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unsurprising.
So that's been my world.
Fun stuff.
True crime and comedy.
Cool. I mean, between the two of us, what a wild array of recommendations for y'all.
This is why we have a podcast.
Good stuff. All right, well, should we get to this
Let's
show?
get into it.
That we're doing?
And I can finally get into my bit.
Yeah.
So, on my way here, I passed the Allen Bradley clock tower, and it clearly states that it is 83 degrees outside.
Yeah.
And in this apartment, probably similar. And yet, Amanda, what am I wearing?
A Pottsfield Harvest Festival sweatshirt.
Established 1502.
Yeah.
Yes.
For the record, I don't think it's 83 degrees in my apartment. It's maybe
78.
70s. Yeah. high 70s in this room. My bedroom's very cool because that's where the air conditioner is, but
Yes, it is warm, and I am sweating. But I wanted to commit to the bit.
You had to.
I wore this earlier this year, and you commented on it, and I told you I couldn't tell you what this was about.
right. I had no
until
reference
right now.
until right now.
Which is why I had to wear this over here, even though it's really hot.
Yeah.
So
You really did. You didn't even
I know,
bring
it's-
it over and then put it on in
No.
my apartment. You wore it here. And you
Yes.
didn't even come from your house.
And ironically, this is a completely audio medium.
Yeah, right? No one's going to see your commitment.
I know, but it's great, and I wanted to wear it because I love the show so much that I have merch, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
So with that, I'm going to take this off.
Yeah, do that. Get comfy.
And Amanda, do you want to tell us what show we're talking about? Even though it's my pick.
Sure. For Kampy's pick for our animation episodes of the show off, we are doing Over the Garden Wall,
Woo!
which is a miniseries that aired on Cartoon Network.
Yes, it is. So Over the Garden Wall, it came out 11 years ago now. So first aired in 2014. Cartoon Network miniseries, one of 7. And
One of 7 miniseries?
One of 7 Cartoon Network miniseries.
Like in the entire existence of the network?
Yes.
Okay.
And of those, one of 2 that's original IP.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, it came out in 2014. Let me get up the stats. So it's 10 episodes total, starring Elijah Wood and Colin Dean. There's a lot of big names. Melanie Linsky. I'm so sorry if I say that wrong. Christopher Lloyd.
Yep.
And John Cleese is in there. I got really excited last week because who did I find out? Tim Curry. Tim Curry's in it. Not in the episodes we're talking about, but he's in it. And Fred Stoller, who is the horse in the second episode that we're going to talk about. So lots of big names.
Yeah.
Super high rating, super fun. Yeah. I mean, those are the high level stats. So before we actually get into the breakdown of this all.
Wait, who created the show?
Oh my God, that's so important.
I got you.
Patrick McHale.
Yep. Okay.
Is the creator. So I think he was, I don't know if he was the showrunner for Adventure Time on Cartoon Network at the time, but he was a pretty important writer for
very
Adventure Time.
similar animation style.
Yeah. So he's the creator of this. And then the art director, because they're going to talk about him too, is Nick Cross.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
I
am really curious as to your initial thoughts and impressions.
Yes. Well, I have good news, bad news, and a caveat for the bad news.
Okay,
So,
let's hear it.
The good news is I actually ended up watching the first episode as well
Okay.
of the show. So I watched, you assigned me episodes 2 and 4. I ended up watching episode 1 because I was like, why not? It's the first episode. It's
10 minutes.
10 minutes or whatever. Let me just like get the full lay of the land before I do these other 2 episodes. So that's the good news. And the bad news is it's finally happened.
Oh no, what happened?
This show is not for me.
Oh my God.
I didn't like it.
Oh no.
No, I was irked, I would say.
Oh.
It was irksome.
What irked you?
All of it?
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like, and again, this is like a very you thing of like there's it's kind of funny, but it's also kind of deeply unsettling. Mm-hmm. And there's some horror elements to it.
Very much.
And I don't love this animation style either. Like, and I never really watched Adventure Time, but I didn't really like it. Like wasn't gravitating towards that either when it came out. This is the caveat. I like the what's the word I'm looking for? I like the environment animation, the background, like the scenery.
Okay. Yeah.
Gorgeous. I hate the people. I hate what they look like.
Is it just their character design that's like...
I don't know. You know what it reminded me of? One of the episodes, which one was it? The one where they're at the inn.
Mm-hmm. Episode 4.
Yes. And the people, it reminded me of kind of like the Courage the Cowardly Dog animation in a way. And like, I don't even fully remember what that looks like, but I also hated that show.
Fair.
And like, it freaked me out, and I just didn't like it.
I feel like this show just like awoken up some like deep buried trauma
maybe
from
that's
watching
what it
Cartoon
is.
Network.
Maybe that's what it is. And I was a Cartoon Network kid. Like that was the channel I watched. I didn't really watch Disney very much or Nickelodeon. Like most of the shows I watched were on Cartoon Network, but this style,
I'm so shocked.
So I apologize. I have good things to say. Like there are certain things, like there are a couple parts where I was like, that was funny. And there were, I do find conceptually, I find some of these things very interesting. But I was just like, by the time I like ended the 4th episode, I was like, cool, I never have to watch that again. I couldn't do it.
You're breaking my heart.
I know, I'm so sorry.
That's okay. It's definitely, it's not for everyone, but if you're anything like me, it's for you. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think that speaks to the fact that this show is doing very intentional things.
It is.
And being absolutely off the wall bonkers crazy sometimes. Yeah, and like playing with these weird like tone shifts. And I do want to talk about, actually, if you're open to it, in the first episode, the music in the beginning, I thought was excellent and very interesting.
Okay.
So, like, it's like I can tell that a lot of creativity and intention and interesting ideas were applied here. I just don't particularly vibe with
I totally
the result.
get that.
Yeah.
And part of why I was so desperate to talk about this show is because of its great appreciation and homage to the history of animation in general. So my hope is, through this discussion, that I can deepen your appreciation of the show, even if you don't like it.
Yeah, I'm sure you will.
Because as you're already pointing out, there's a lot of stuff in here that's very intentional.
Yeah.
And a lot of that intentionality comes back to its inspirations, which is basically the birth and the early years of animation. So I'm super excited to talk about this.
Did you like read or listen to like interviews with the showrunner to that effect, or
I did read a couple of different articles with interviews with the showrunner, Patrick McHale, and then the art director, who is Nick Cross.
Okay.
So I've read quite a few things that they've done.
Okay, and they talk specifically about like, we wanted to use certain techniques in the show.
There's some stuff that they reference that's like, okay, that's confirmed. There's a lot of stuff that's just speculated, but it's so on the nose that you're like, that is an obvious
It's good.
reference.
Like if you know the history of animation. Yeah. Okay, cool.
And so to kind of jump into things then.
Yeah.
My introduction to the show.
Yeah.
My friend Mina would watch it every single year at Halloween.
Okay, cool.
Every
Love
single
that.
year. And she always tried to talk me into it. You got to watch it. You got to watch it. You got to watch it. And I never did. Because I'm very bad
I feel like
at watching
this is a pattern
shows.
with you. This is a pattern with you. Someone you know is like, you have to watch this thing. And you're like, no, I won't do it. No, I won't do it. No, I won't do it.
It's not a
okay,
no,
fine, I'll do it.
Won't. It's a yes, I will get around to it.
Sure.
Eventually.
Sure.
And I do. Eventually. And then I always go, you were right.
Yeah, exactly. In some cases, said friend forces you to do an entire podcast about that show.
Whatever works.
WandaVision.
But yes, so by the time I finally got around to watching this, after the first episode, I was immediately in love because right away I could tell different places where it was pulling from the history of animation. And what I think is so cool is almost every episode seems to be referencing a different, like either historical moment or a really important part of the zeitgeist. And I just, like, there's not an episode that misses a chance to reference something.
Cool.
So, for example, I think it's episode 7 called The Ringing of the Bell. Tim Curry's in that one. It's a clear homage to Ghibli. and Ghibli animation, Ghibli character designs, even like Ghibli horror in some ways.
Sure.
So like it spans the spectrum.
Yeah.
Which I think is so cool.
So they switch up the animation style for
Not
that episode?
necessarily.
Okay.
But and that's what I find so fascinating is they find ways to keep everything harmonious.
Yeah.
While still very clearly pointing to different things.
Yeah.
So like the Ghibli thing isn't confirmed, but I'll show you Anti-Whispers, and you tell me that this isn't a reference to
Am I gonna be scared?
Howl's. Like just the oversized head, the oversized body, the real exaggerated look. Like that's the witch in Howl's.
Do you mean Spirited Away?
No. But
Howl's.
the one character.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, yeah, I got you.
Let me.
Also, kind of like that vaguely has the shape of.
Yeah, this like. Okay, like some of these bigger characters with the bigger features and faces and stuff.
Sure.
Yeah, this witch.
And kind of like even the coloring.
Yeah, and then the other character that's Lorna is her name. When she becomes evil, she kind of looks like the person from Spirited Away. I forget that ghost creature's name.
Oh, No Face?
Yeah, is that it?
Yeah, who has the mask?
I think so, yeah.
And like it's just like a big black floating guy.
I'll pull up another picture. I know, visual versus audio medium, but like it's rough, but like she has that long lanky body and
I see where
the
you're going
creepy
with
face. So it still keeps everything harmonious while paying subtle references and sometimes not so subtle references.
Sure.
And so for me, part of why I love all this so much is I was a film major, as you know.
I do,
and
indeed.
I studied animation as part of that.
Yeah.
And so I have a deep passion for it. I even went out and bought, repurchased one of my old college textbooks that I had. So I'm going to be referencing some stuff from here. It's called Of Mice and Magic, A History of American Animated Cartoons by Leonard Maltin.
Nice.
If you're interested, dear listener, it's a very good read, even though it is a college textbook. So I was thinking to kind of get started with all this, I'd actually talk about the history of animation first a little bit.
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
You got to shout out the original animators, which are actually cavemen.
Okay.
So it's theorized.
Okay.
So the paintings on cave walls, when you have them in firelight, have this optical illusion of movement. And so it's often thought that that was the way that the cave paintings were done was intentional to evoke that sense of movement. So some people credit that as the first animation. Sure. And then you have inventions of things like flip books.
Yeah.
Very rudimentary stuff. If you ever heard of a zoetrope?
No.
It's one of those things that like spins in a circle. And
with a light?
Yeah.
You shine a light through it? Yeah. I didn't
Yeah.
know it was called that, but I think I know what you're talking about.
Exactly. So you have the image, basically the image is drawn on a couple dozen times in a circle.
Yeah.
And then you spin it really fast and you're able to peek through a hole. And it looks like, a horse jumping over a fence over and over and over again.
Right.
So those were very rudimentary, but they're all kind of like just kitschy little toys.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So the first animations start coming out in the early 1900s. So it was actually a French guy who did the first animation.
Wait, do I know his name?
Emile Cole?
Oh, no, never mind.
Yeah.
Who's the guy who did the moon? Thing?
Oh,
the rocket into the moon.
Hold on, I have him in my notes.
Because that's animation, right? Or no?
Wait, A Trip to the Moon?
Yeah.
Are you thinking of that?
It's a French guy, right?
Or are you thinking of Un Chien Andalou?
Girl,
You're thinking A Trip to the Moon.
I think so.
Yeah, because there's like claymation in there.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so that's different.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Although that did come out in 1902. I don't know if that's claymation so much as special effects. It's kind of borderline.
Sure.
But yeah, so it was 1911 where, the ideas started getting played around with of like, hey, we can create characters and make them move. Now, the film that's actually typically credited as being the first animated thing is Gertie the Dinosaur. Have you ever heard of Gertie the Dinosaur? Very famous.
Maybe.
Jurassic Park references her.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's a very simple animation where this dinosaur comes out and the drawer, her master, is like, Gertie, eat this. Gertie, do that. And like giving her orders, and she does what he asks and stuff. It was a sensation when it came out. And people honestly couldn't believe that you could make a character move.
Yeah.
And what's interesting, it's pretty short. The actual animated part of the film is very short. It took over 10,000 drawings. It took this guy over 4 years
Wow.
to make this thing. And it's not really a story so much as a proof of concept, right? The character can move. And so I like pointing out Gertie because she is considered the first animated character in animation. But the one thing that I really want to highlight here is her backgrounds shimmered. And that was because the first animations, they redrew every single picture, including the backgrounds. And so you're doing your best to line everything up perfectly and
right, but it's gonna move.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so they had this problem of, I guess, the background shimmering and stuff like that. And so from here, after we have proof of concept, the medium just exploded and people went crazy for it. And so these early years, there were so many inventions and advancements happening that have defined animation to this day. Animation is what it is because of the birth. And I know that sounds so stupid to say, but it's like there are so many things that are still used in animation today just because that's how it's always been done.
Sure.
And we just take it for granted. So the first thing I want to point out is a lot of the first animators were cartoonists in newspapers.
Okay.
One, they could already draw.
Yeah.
And they could tell a very short, snappy story.
Yep.
In a very little amount of time.
Yeah.
And I personally believe that is why most animation favors comedy at this point.
Yeah.
That was its genesis.
Yeah.
And those were the stories it could most impactfully tell, especially because at the time, this was the silent era.
Yeah.
And so you couldn't have these characters talking. You couldn't be using any kind of sound to communicate what's happening. You could have words on the screen and thought bubbles or talking bubbles, which they did. But a lot of stuff had to be communicated without sound. And that's where we get a lot of the tropes of animation still to this day of over exaggerated things in order to communicate the message.
Yeah.
So back in the day, if that was, doing a phone call and seeing a little thing in the phone line, literally moving through the phone line, right, to communicate this is what's happening.
Yeah.
Versus even the bam, zap, boom, exclamation point, shock lines, all that stuff comes from early animation being silent and having to find ways to communicate stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even just a lot of early animation was just gags. Just how can we do a gag as quickly as possible and get it in here?
Love
and
it.
then once we get the gag in, how can we do the next gag? And so early animation too is oh my God, it's a fucking fever dream to watch. Seriously, watch some of the earliest animations. You're going to think you're tripping drugs because this stuff was fucking wild. There's no storyline at all whatsoever.
Yeah.
They're just going from one thought to the next. There's a lot of violence because I guess that's where people were at the time. And it's just, there's so many abstract and absurdist things that happen in early animation because it was the only medium that allowed for weird, abstract, absurdist things to be happening in that kind of capacity.
Did that have to do with laws around filmmaking at the time of what you could and couldn't show?
This was before the Hays Code.
Okay.
Yeah. Which does come into play.
Yeah.
I mean, there was...
Animation was just the Wild West.
It really was.
We can do whatever the fuck we want.
It really, truly was.
Yeah.
And so now we have to talk about some of the key developments that really changed things at the time. So one of the first developments, and hopefully this doesn't surprise you, because to me, this is the first thing that I would think of if I'm trying to figure out how to do animation easier. Creating a solid background that doesn't change.
That doesn't move.
That you just have, right?
For sure.
And this was radical at the time because in order to make that work, you had to be able to animate something on a clear cell.
Okay.
And so they would do their animations on what's called celluloid. And to this day, the term cell is still used as a standard industry term to talk about a frame of animation, a cell of animation. And so, there was different technology that had to be developed to have that clear coding because you still had to photograph it with a camera.
Okay,
and so if you had too many layers, it could get kind of messy. And over time, this slowly got more and more sophisticated. So at first, it was just the background was solid and you'd still have to reanimate the character every time. And that slowly evolved to, well, this part of the character isn't going to move. So we can at least have that solid on here, and then we'll just put in the parts that move, right? And so there's different versions of this. They got more and more sophisticated over time. God, there's so much more I want to talk about that I won't because it's not relevant. But the important takeaway from the silent era, at least, is just it was comedy, it was absurdist, it was experimental, and even just the development of let's have a solid background.
Yeah, I mean, you can all I'm already picturing that's the foundation of Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
That's all Looney Tunes is, plus sound. Even like the violence and like the
100%.
but you know, like thinking about the backgrounds and like animating characters over the backgrounds, like that's literally all it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that is what it is today still.
Yeah.
So now we're going to talk a little bit about Disney. And you got to keep me in check here, because this is not Kampy gets to complain about Disney, okay?
Right.
All right, so keep me honest here.
Okay, I got you.
All right, because I gotta give Disney credit where credit is due. So that's what this is.
She said through gritted teeth.
Very gritted teeth. I have a lot of beef with like Walt Disney himself.
Yeah, I mean, he sucked, right?
Yeah,
he was
did.
not. Anyway, not relevant for this
He
conversation.
was a good businessman.
Yeah.
He was a very good businessman. So yeah, he started out in 1922, so 10 years post the first animation,
Sure.
right? And he's just started out doing animation for advertisements. It's Disney. He dreamed of doing stuff bigger. Okay, again, this is not Kampy gets to complain about Disney, so we're gonna skip some of my notes. But
You can tell me later.
I have so much. Okay. One of the most important animators that Disney has ever worked with that never gets the fucking credit, and this, I'm going to talk about him. God damn it.
The
Works.
T. I'm sorry, say it again.
Works.
How do you spell that?
U-B, Oob. That's his first name.
His first name's Oob.
Oob. Last name, Eworks.
Eworks.
I-W-E-R-K-S.
That's his. Okay.
Works.
Do you know where he is from?
No idea.
Because, like, I've never heard a name like that before in
I
my
haven't
life.
either, and I love it so much.
It's crazy.
It's
Okay.
so whimsical. I love him. He's amazing. He is the true...
No, get out of my phone.
Why is your phone trying to look up Uba Works?
I don't even know.
Why is it listening to us?
AI accidentally heard us talking. Okay, we're moving on.
I don't like
didn't
that. Nope.
All right, sorry.
But no, so he was the most important animator at the Disney Studios. He did leave for a little bit and come back. There's a lot to unpack there, but we're not going to, because The Jazz Singer comes out in 1928, which is the first sound film.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And Disney immediately, because he's a good businessman, and he is, reluctantly to say this, he is pretty ingenious when it comes to like predicting where things are going.
Yeah.
He sees sound and he goes, this is not just a one-off thing.
Right.
This is the future.
Yeah.
How can we get this to work with animation? So he goes to Oob, and he
Oob.
Oob.
Our guy
He goes
Oob.
to Oob, and he basically is like, we need to think of something. And Oob had already designed, might have been Disney, I think it was Oob, designed a character called Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, which I do have a pin of on my other backpack. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
I don't know.
And that was the sort of original Mickey Mouse. Oswald the Lucky Rabbit had his own run and is his own character in his own right, but that design and that simplicity is what Oob used to create Mickey Mouse. And that's right, it was Oob who created Mickey Mouse.
Okay.
I am adamant on pointing that out. The guy does not get enough credit.
No.
And he's the one who animated Steamboat Willie.
Ah.
And it was Disney's idea.
Right.
And, you know, it's him pushing them to, like, see if they can do it. I think he literally got his, like, brother's kids to play the music to the animation just to see if it would work. And, like, everybody went crazy and thought it was so cool. And so he's like, okay, this works. We got to actually, like, do it.
Yeah.
And so you got to give credit where credit's due there. But the whole proof of concept of sound synchronized to animation and like how powerful sound was in animation, especially how powerful music
No kidding.
is in animation, which is relevant to the show that we're going to be talking about.
Yeah, I mean in all film,
Yeah.
but yeah, particularly animation.
Yes. And so now we get to, I'm like, do I talk about this now or do I wait till it comes up in the episode? I'm going to talk about it now.
Talk about it now and then I'll be prepared
Yes.
when you talk about it later.
So 1929.
Okay.
Disney, again, to his credit, liked for his animators to experiment.
Yeah.
He encouraged this. He encouraged them basically wasting time. There's quotes from people saying you could spend an entire day working on something, at the end of the day, throw it in the waste bin, and people wouldn't ask you why. But if you showed people, they'd ask you why you didn't. Like, throw it in the wastebasket. So the whole idea was, if it wasn't perfect, keep going, keep trying again.
Okay.
Like, don't worry about the price. We got to make it perfect. We got to make something good.
Okay.
And you have to experiment.
Yeah. That's
Credit
how
where credit's
creativity
due.
works.
Yeah. And so Oob got the green light to experiment further with sound and music and finding ways to synchronize them. And we get the skeleton dance of 1929. And I know for a fact you know what this is, including you, dear listener, even though you don't.
Yeah.
Because it is referenced so many places constantly.
Yeah.
Like, can you Google it, Amanda? Just look up a picture of the skeleton dance. Okay. And I'm so curious to hear your reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen this.
Yes. Skeletons dancing in a graveyard.
And I mean, like, that feels like a thing we reference culturally. Like a dancing skeleton feels like
that's where this comes
thing.
From.
Yeah.
Is
cool.
from this Disney thing that Oob put together. And there's no story, there's no plot. And unlike the rest of Disney that was very lighthearted and funny and comedy, this was a little spookier because it was a graveyard.
Sure.
So there were some horror elements brought in. There are gags, comical gags in it, but it's less about that and just more about how do we animate in conformity with music. And this was the start of the Silly Symphonies, which was a huge run for Disney back in the early days, if you've ever heard of it.
No.
Oh, my grandma had like a bunch of old stuff, so I saw Silly Symphonies growing up.
Oh yeah, that's fun.
Yeah. But yeah, that became a vehicle for experimenting even further and really pushing the medium forward.
Yeah.
But the skeleton dance is very relevant because this idea of skeletons dancing in the graveyard and skeletons being able to move around kind of comes into play in one of the episodes we're going to be talking about. So you got to talk about that. I got to point these things out too, because you're going to be surprised to hear that they originated at Disney.
Okay.
And as late as 1930s.
Sure.
Because that's when these things came about. Storyboarding. Storyboarding hadn't been a thing until Disney.
I mean, I guess I can kind of see that because storyboarding feels like it does lend itself to animation.
Right, yeah.
Specifically. So I can see how like it started there and then people were like, wait, we can do this for live action too.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of how the thought process went. You had all the drawings laid out.
Yeah.
And, they'd run the drawings through and they'd be like, oh, this didn't work so well.
Right.
How can we make this work better? And from there, it just kept building and building of, well, let's take a look at everything laid out first. Let's be able to move things around. Let's be able to plan. Storyboard.
Yeah.
Boom. Specialization came about from Disney.
Meaning what?
Before, animators would be responsible for everything. They'd be responsible for the background, for the movement, for the rain, for the water effects.
Yeah.
For everything.
Yeah.
At Disney, it got segmented. Certain people were responsible for the lining and for the coloring.
Yeah.
Other people are responsible for doing the effects and like the rain or the water rippling, right?
That's just business growth as well.
Yeah. That though came from Disney.
Yeah.
There were a lot of animators who would leave studios to go to Disney and were shocked that they just got to do the stuff that they cared about. And they didn't have to worry about everything else.
Yeah.
Disney was the first to get a contract with Technicolor, so color was huge. Snow White was done in Technicolor. Yep. That was huge at the time. Pencil test, which was actually just looking at the rough animation first and seeing the rough animation in sequence and seeing if it worked.
Yep.
Which you can find to this day pencil tests online of almost any animated film. You can see behind the scenes deleted scenes sometimes are just the pencil tests.
Yeah.
That still exists. That came from Disney. Again, all this stuff only came about in the 30s, which grand scheme of things, it was almost 100 years ago, but really not that long ago.
No, not at all.
For as long as we've been telling stories.
Yeah. And it's a lot of innovation that happened in a relatively short period of time.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes.
Yeah.
And the last thing that I need to talk about, there's a lot more with Disney history, but this is where it kind of stops becoming relevant, is this last piece that I'll talk about. The multi-pane camera. So there was a Disney animated short that came out called The Old Mill.
Okay.
And the opening scenes of The Old Mill are just an old windmill. You're looking at it from across the water, like this body of water. There's ducks going on the water. There's reeds in the foreground. There's some cows walking behind the windmill. The camera pans in towards the windmill and everything moves in perspective. So the reeds seem to pull away, right? And it's the effect is just breathtaking.
The effect is the camera is in the space.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And for animation, that's stunning.
Right.
And it was this massive camera that was literally 2 stories tall, this whole machine. I think there were over 72 different adjustment points that they could make.
Oh my God.
And it was essentially just layer after layer after layer of different cells. And they literally had engineers on staff to help figure out how to move things around and so everything stayed in perspective, crazy stuff.
Damn, did they film it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's used, like, Old Mill is, like, where it was first used. But there's, like, other stuff that I've seen in, like, Bambi, like, even up to the 50s and Fox and the Hound, which I think was the 80s.
I mean, like
they're
they
still using the technique.
Yeah. Did they film, like, the process of it? Like, the engineering guys doing?
No, I'm pretty sure there are. There's so much behind-the-scenes footage of Disney in the early days.
I was gonna, like, that specifically, like, I would watch a documentary about
actually,
that.
I have a picture. Let me find it, because I'm pretty sure I bookmarked it. I did. Okay. That is the multi-pane camera.
Okay. That is a setup.
Right?
Wow.
Pretty intense.
Yeah, there's at least like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dudes operating that thing.
Yes. Very intense process. And the last thing that I'll mention about Disney, and this is very obvious in the short, The Old Mill. Perfection was like the name of the game for Disney and art. And he relished in it.
Yeah.
And the old Disney stuff from this era is beautiful. Everything looks like a work of art, especially the backgrounds, the scenery. It's paintings at that point.
How about that?
I wonder if that's going to be relevant for what we're talking about. 100%. And the show Over the Garden Wall, the aesthetic, the background aesthetic is borrowed from a lot of places, but the idea of something that is beautiful, that looks like it's painted, that's very intentional and complicated within the space, that's from Disney. So that's where I'll wrap with Disney. We got to talk about one more studio that's really relevant to today's discussion.
Okay.
And it's the reason I picked episode 4.
Okay.
We got to talk about the Fleischer brothers, which is my personal favorite studio from this era of animation. I fucking love the Fleischers. So it's primarily Max is the one that's known, but I think there's 5 brothers in total. And all of them worked at the studio at one point.
That's crazy. I was definitely just picturing 2 in my head.
There were 2 main ones.
Okay.
There were 2 main brothers who were the primary business like runners, but it was mostly Max is who everyone talks about. And tragically, Max Fleischer was a horrible businessman.
Oh no.
He liked doing things for the art, and he really didn't give a fuck about anything else.
Yeah.
So he didn't retain his patents on any of the inventions he had. He didn't retain the rights to his own characters. He wasn't a good self-promoter.
Yeah.
Which is why no one knows who he is today.
Right.
And, like, it's so tragic.
And
because
everyone knows Disney.
Everyone knows Disney, and Fleischer was his biggest competitor of the time.
No one knows that he
No
even
one
exists.
knows, and I'm so sad.
But you know.
I know.
Yeah.
I know him.
And now I know. And now we know.
But we got to talk about some major developments that the Fleischers did.
Okay.
Which the first big invention that they had was called rotoscoping. Have you heard of rotoscoping?
Yes.
This is still used today.
Yeah.
This is where you film someone doing a live motion, live movement, a live person, and then you animate on top of them.
Yeah.
So Snow White is largely criticized, like the character of Snow White is largely criticized as being 100% rotoscoped. Both true and untrue. It is true that all of her movements came from rotoscoping, but they still had to create an animated character that maintained perspective.
Why is that a criticism? Like, why is that a bad thing?
Okay. Personal taste preference here.
Yeah.
I don't like rotoscoping most of the time.
Okay.
Because it is cool because the motion for the character is very fluid.
Right.
And it looks very realistic.
It's going to look more real. Yeah.
Yeah. But to me, that's very jarring for animation. I think there are times where it's really well done. Yeah. Otherwise, it's Uncanny Valley.
Yeah. Okay. I see it.
To me, it's very noticeable.
Yeah,
it pulls me out.
Okay.
And so, yeah, like Snow White, to me, like, if I can shut that part of my brain off, I can enjoy it.
Yeah.
But that's hard for me to do sometimes watching her.
Yeah.
And watching her movement, I just go, it's so rotoscoped. Especially the prince. Oh, I hate watching the prince in that movie. I'm just like, I can tell. But it was a huge, like, leap as far as creating characters with fluid movement and taking out the guesswork.
Sure.
Of what it should look like,
Makes
right?
it easier.
There was also rotographing. After we're done talking, I got to show you a really cool example of rotographing. It's basically you have a live action set that you animate on top of. Not just like a still frame, but like things that are actually moving, and then you're animating on top of it. So it's basically early special effects.
Okay.
Which the Fleischer brothers pioneered casually.
Yeah. And nobody knows.
But then later they would create miniature 3D sets that they would animate on.
Dope.
And so I got to show you, if for you that's listening, look up Sinbad. I think it's Sinbad the Sailor. It's a Popeye cartoon. There is such a cool scene where Popeye goes into a cave and it's all 3D and it's lit and it's so cool, and Popeye's animated on top of it. It looks sick.
Nice.
Check it out. We're going to watch it after. But they also were the pioneers of sound on film. Not just sound synchronized to film, but literally sound printed on the physical film itself. Fleischers did that.
Wow.
Yeah. They invented the bouncing ball sing-along. You ever see a sing-along with the little ball that bounces on the words that you should be singing?
Yep.
That was the Fleischers.
Okay.
They were kind of taking a page from Disney as far as the silly symphonies and going, how can we animate to music?
Yep. But that's how innovation works.
And I think that's also super sick. Let's see. This is one thing that I love about Fleischers too. They're like audio, like people talking and animated lip syncing. Who cares?
Okay.
So a lot of their stuff, they would animate and then have people talk after they had animated it. So there was not a lot of sync between it.
Yeah.
But the effect became kind of really endearing.
Yeah, sure.
And so at this point, if you're wondering, well, what did the Fleischers make? Popeye.
Okay.
Betty Boop, Coco the Clown, which people don't really know about anymore. They did the Superman cartoon from like the 50s or 60s.
Okay.
Gulliver's Travels. So a lot of this, like, I don't know. There's a style to it.
Yeah.
It's the studio's not around anymore.
Yeah. It's like
there's very recognizable characters.
Yeah, almost like proto Warner Brothers
Yeah.
style.
Absolutely.
Looney Tunes, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so one of the things too that I love about the Fleischers is that it was pre-code. So the pre-Hays Code.
Right.
So one thing.
So they could do whatever they wanted.
They could do whatever the fuck they wanted.
The Wild West.
I gotta find this quote from Disney because I think it's very prescient, which is basically a criticism about Mickey Mouse as a character. Because Mickey became so big and like marketable, literally they were like doing merch for Mickey from the beginning.
Yeah, because Disney was a good businessman.
Yes. But the critique about Mickey is it's an old story. I'm quoting from the book right now. If nobody knows you, you can do anything. And if everybody knows you, you can't do anything except what everyone approves, which is very little of anything. It has happened often enough among the human stars of the screen, and now it gets even the little fellow in black and white who is no thicker than a pencil mark and exists solely in a state of mind.
Wow.
So that was the big critique about Disney in general and Mickey Mouse is it's just milquetoast.
Yeah.
Basically.
Right.
The Fleischers.
You boxed yourself into.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, 100%. Fleischers didn't give a fuck. And it was pre-Hays. So their comedy was a lot edgier.
Yeah. And Betty Boop.
Racy. Yes. They did have a lot of ethnic jokes. So product of its time. That is bad. There's a lot of sexual humor.
Yeah.
Including visual and verbal gags aimed at adults and not children. And then, yes, 1930 Betty Boop. The hybrid original design. She was a hybrid of a dog and a sexy girl with a voluptuous feminine body, but dog ears and a canine nose. Shout out to the furries out there. But no, she was designed to be sexy.
Yeah.
She was designed for sexy jokes.
Yeah.
I think it's great. And she was modeled after a very popular singer, Helen Kane.
Okay.
If you did not know, she was the original Betty Boop. But this also marks a trend for the Fleischers, which is they were very up on current pop culture, especially New York culture, New York jazz, and they leaned into that and they incorporated it within their work. One of my favorite works by the Fleischers is their 1933 Snow White. Beats Disney by, I think, 6 years.
Oh.
Now, it was a 10-minute short film, so it's not a full feature-length film.
Fair enough.
But there is a scene that I'm going to have you watch after we get to this point in the episode of Over the Garden Wall, because they had a very close collaboration with a jazz artist known as Cab Calloway. I don't know if you know who that is.
Kind of, yeah.
He's my personal favorite, like, jazz icon. I love him so much. And they had a very close collaboration with him. Cab had a very unique dancing style that they would rotoscope onto their characters. And that was with Cab's permission, I should say.
Yeah,
They didn't just steal his likeness. He was a black jazz singer, so they didn't just, do what everybody did, which is take credit for black people, black people's work and contributions. Like, they gave him credit where credit was due.
Okay.
And then, Popeye, the sailor, in those cartoons. So this comes back to the whole, like, not syncing sound and lips. Popeye was voiced by Jack Mercer. Olive was voiced by Mae Questel. and they would just ad-lib in the booth and just make stuff up. Really? So they would have like what was scripted that they would have to say, and they would say it, but they'd also just ad-lib, and Fleischers were cool with it.
Okay.
And then
so like, is this multiple takes or like
I don't know.
Riffing?
I can't answer that.
Okay.
But it does, from what I've read, he would like make up his own lines ahead of time. Like he knew what he wanted to ad-lib, but some of it was also just on the fly.
Sure. Okay.
And then he's the one who gave Popeye's very famous muttering, and just like how Popeye's always muttering under his breath. That was Jack Mercer, just the voice actor being like, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
And the Fleischers being like, yeah, cool, go for it. And so, yeah, like the Fleischer style and attitudes of, I think I read a quote that said they were the original bad boys of animation.
Ha!
Just because they were a little bit more out there than the better known Disney.
Yeah.
But yes, tragically, the Fleischer, but I'm going to read this quote because I think this is both sad and hilarious. The personal relationship between Max and Dave Fleischer deteriorated during the Miami period due to complications associated with the pressure of finishing the studio's first feature and Dave's very public adulterous affair with his secretary.
Oh, damn.
Max and Dave stopped speaking to each other altogether, and by the end of 1939, communicated solely by memos.
Oh, but they were still running the company.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Holy
so
shit.
Fleischer went under.
Yeah.
Tragically.
Oh, shoot.
But their impact on animation is still felt today, which we are about to explore in Over the Garden Wall.
We did it.
Let's get there. Okay.
I mean, I just learned a lot.
They're 10-minute episodes. They're short.
Yeah. We're going to power through.
Yes.
For sure.
And then I will harken back to some of our harrowing moments of animation history.
Real quick before we dive in, can I just talk about this like opening song for a minute, since I just happened to watch it?
You're talking about the first episode.
Yeah, the first episode. The opening
Perfect.
Song.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah. I really did like that. It was like very nostalgic, but also kind of spooky. And actually the tune reminded me of Once Upon a December from Anastasia.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if that's like a key piece of animation history, but I do think it's a very beautifully animated movie.
Oh, yeah. That one's heavily rotoscoped.
That I believe.
Well done, though.
Yeah.
Well done,
like all those
rotoscoping.
dancing scenes and stuff. Yeah. So yeah, I was like listening to the opening song, and then I was like, what does this remind me of?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think it's Once Upon a... And sure enough, I like went and watched a clip of that song, and then went back and watched, and it's like a very similar melody.
I'm sure there's a through line there.
Yeah,
I'm sure
especially
there's some
towards the
intentionality.
end. Also kind of like a Billy Joel kind of a sound in parts. It was interesting. So I really like that.
Piano piece that's a little, at least the singer is a little deeper voice, a little jazzier. Even though it's not jazz, but
yeah. And just like that very kind of like haunting melody. Like if you know Once Upon a December, like it's a very distinct tune, and not something you often associate, I guess, with animation.
No.
Like, I don't know.
Again, animation's supposed to be funny.
Yeah, exactly.
Comedic.
Fun, comedy.
And, lighthearted.
Slapstick.
Right away, we're opening the show with a very solemn tune.
Yeah.
Set the tone.
So I just wanted to point that out. I liked it.
Yeah, and it's funny that you point that out too, because the song ends with a frog playing on a piano, which is an homage to an Uba Works cartoon of a frog playing on a piano.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So that is a known direct reference.
Okay, cool. There's also a frog that is like in the show.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'll say, let me see if I have anything like else interesting to say about this episode.
Specifically the first episode.
Yeah, just real quick. I mean, just kind of the fact that like it's like in media res, like drop you in.
Yes.
They're in the woods, walking through the woods. We don't know why. We don't know where they came from. Just like two brothers. It felt very like classic fairy tale kind of setup, like Red Riding Hood, I guess.
Yeah.
And I think what's Elijah Wood's character's name?
Wirt.
Is it Wirt who has the pointy red hat?
Yes, he has the cone hat.
Yeah, the cone. So yeah, that was very like, again, felt like kind of classic to me in a way.
Yes.
Which is interesting. I did like There was a line at one point that was like, "Welcome to the unknown, boys. You're more lost than you realize." I was like, I hate it, but I love it. And I was like, oh, the little brother has a teapot on his head. It's just never explained.
It is.
Okay, later.
Eventually.
Later. Okay.
It all makes sense.
It's not introduced.
No,
to
he's
you.
also throwing candy around everywhere all episode.
He's throwing candy around, which is very silly. But yeah, I didn't register that it was a teapot until like maybe halfway through, and then I was like, wait, he has a teapot on his head.
Personally, I think that's the beauty of character design and animation.
Yeah.
You get away with that.
No,
stuff.
that was something that I really did like, because it was like, yeah, like absurd and funny, but like not explained. Yeah, and I think like the beast thing kind of leans into the Red Riding Hood of it all.
Yeah, and it's if I may interject,
please.
I think it's funny that you point that out, because some of the stuff I was reading in preparation for this too is pointing out the parallels to just that sort of fantasy storytelling in general of two, like in this case, two boys in a world that's just unfamiliar to them. So it referenced things like Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, sure.
Or The Wizard of Oz. And
100%.
like these different stories of just being out of place and being lost.
No, I feel like I got some specific Wizard of Oz vibes.
Yes.
Wizard of Oz vibes later. I forget when it was. Maybe it'll come up.
I wrote it down in my notes for somewhere in episode 4.
Cool.
So,
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I think that was like all the interesting things I had to say about the episode. But
yeah.
It was surely an introduction.
But yes, the premise of the show is there are these two brothers lost in the woods trying to get home.
Yeah, that's it.
And just a series of misadventures along
Shenanigans.
the way. Yeah. So for our podcast episode, we're starting with episode 2, Hard Times at the Huskin Bee. So we get the title card, which I think is gorgeous. This is at the start of every episode is the episode title itself. But you have Over the Garden Wall, and it's this beautiful, it almost looks like a woodcut or a paper cut thing. It's silhouetted, and there's like orange and like yellow light behind it. It just sets the tone so well.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of blacks, and I'm going to keep calling out all the blacks.
Ooh, yeah.
Within the show.
That is very...
It's a very dark show.
Yeah.
Like
very.
color.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
Back to the title card. That is also very like classic animation, isn't it? Like just, even just like having a title card at all.
Yeah. And the style of it too, which I will talk about at the end of our episode discussions.
Okay.
And yeah, the music here too, I wrote down, is just very beautiful, very haunting, just lingering strings.
Yes.
And then you get the sound effect of like, it's faint, but there's a sound of wind blowing and then a distant train whistle. And so like right away, to me, it just puts me in this like mood immediately.
It's very much a mood kind of show.
Oh, it's so moody. So then we have our opening shots, and this I wrote down, this is all very Disney-esque, these opening shots. Sure. And I'm going to break this down in probably too much detail, but it's just so fucking gorgeous.
Yeah, this is really pretty. The first note I have is the scenery is beautiful. I hate the people.
I hate you for that. I don't. I only resent you a little bit.
Continue.
But we start with a close-up of leaves shaking in the wind, and one of them gets broken off and blows away. And then the next shot's this beautiful vista. There's the sun's yellow misty glow is coming over the top of distant treetops. In the foreground, you have this beautiful tree that's in hues of like orange and red. And in the background, the trees are just kind of like matte gray. It's just, it's so eerie. That looks misty. The next shot, we get Canadian geese in a V formation, and the sky is just beautiful tones of oranges and blues and fading into purple and a little bit of brown in there. Like there's so much going on.
Yeah.
Our next shot is a bed of leaves with a little cricket chirping on it. It jumps once. It's so cute. Your next shot's a group of turkeys walking up the hill, and I really like the way that this particular one's framed. 60% of the shot, at least, is just obscured by a big oak tree.
Yeah.
So it looks like you're looking at the turkeys from behind the tree, like you're creeping on them.
Sure, yeah.
But that's over 60% of what's in frame is just this big oak tree, and most of that's black.
I mean, going back to like the ominous sort of feeling over this entire show.
Yeah.
That is definitely impacting it.
And yet these scenes are gorgeous. And so many bright yellows and oranges in contrast to the black.
But already like forecasting that like something is not going to be right about this.
Yeah. It just, the artwork itself strikes the balance of what the tone is.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah. And then let's see the final shot, and I say the most gorgeous shot. On the foreground of either side, right and left, are two large trees, again, drawn almost completely in black and in silhouette. In between those trees is the shot of a forest path that looks very misty. There's literally looks like, and this is all drawn, which is why it's so stunning. It looks like there are streams of sunlight coming down through the trees, like golden streams.
Yeah.
There's little flecks of yellow everywhere to make it look like particles are floating around.
Right.
Like, again, just, this is drawn. I can't emphasize that enough.
Yeah.
People had to create this. And like the shot moves forward and you see the trees in the foreground pull to the side. And that's where I'm like, this is why Disney Old Mill, this is where that's coming from. It is a direct reference to the beautiful artwork that was done for it, as well as the techniques of the multi-pane camera. Now, Over the Garden Wall was done with computer animation.
Okay, I was going to say.
All of it's computer, including the backgrounds. They are painted in a way, but on computer.
Right, digital.
Digitally painted, yeah. But yes, 100%, this whole opening sequence is just a reference to Disney.
Yeah.
So that's why I went into so much detail. It's fucking gorgeous.
Yeah, for real.
Yes. But yeah, on this forest path, two boys come into view, and we get a tracking shot of them walking through the forest. So we have Wirt, whose, by the way, original concept name was Walt.
Wow. That would have been on the nose.
Yep. I want to talk about character design, but I'm just not going to.
I think Wirt fits his character better.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because it's like, never mind.
Just a weird out there name.
Yeah, like weird and kind of, it's like close to Wart.
Yeah.
And like somehow that fits. I don't know.
It does fit him. He's such a what tell.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know why Elijah's so good at playing those characters.
Yeah. He's really your guy this season of the show.
I know. But yeah, so it's Wart, who's the older brother, and Greg, who's the younger brother. Personally, I think Greg's character design is very funny.
Yeah.
I love it. I think
teapot.
it's very endearing. And I do think his character design is very Fleischer-esque.
Is it?
In my personal opinion. It's kind of hard, though, to separate out. All the early animation kind of blended together their styles.
Yeah.
They all kind of copied each other.
I will say like his whole bottom half just looks like a butt.
It's just...
Yeah. Like really, and he's like quite short and compact.
I would say I wrote down his body proportions are 1-1-1. His one part of his body is his lower half, including leg. The other one of his body is his head. The other one of his body is the kettle.
Is the teapot.
Yeah. He's very round.
Yeah. Yeah. No, his design is like one of the ones I kind of liked a little bit.
I think it's endearing.
Yeah.
And so they're walking through the woods, and Greg is just going as Wart is anxiously worrying out loud about how it's almost morning and they should have found a town by now.
Yeah.
And they hear a distant voice yelling, "Help, I'm stuck." And Wart, however, isn't paying any mind to that.
Yeah.
He goes to investigate a sign that says Pottsfield, 1 mile. And he goes, "Oh, a town. Greg, let's go this way."
Yeah.
To which his younger brother says, "Okay,
and
let's go this way." Walks the other way. So Greg goes to investigate the voice, and he finds Beatrice.
Birdie.
The bird. Were you expecting Beatrice? Well,
I
you
had
saw the
met
first
her
episode.
already. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Beatrice before we kind of...
What are my thoughts on Beatrice? Now that we've been talking about Disney so much, she seems like a kind of inversion of the Disney, like the classic Disney animal sidekick.
Yeah.
And like, because she's like, okay, she's like with them. Well, after this scene, she ends up going with them because she's like, yeah, I owe you guys. Like, you saved my life, so I have to return the favor. Mm-hmm. But then at certain points, at certain points during the story, she's like, nah, it's too much for you, I'm out. Which I did think was funny.
She's very snarky.
She's very snarky.
Yes.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm glad you brought up Disney. There is a bluebird in the old mill, and so I'm pretty sure her character design is loosely based off of that. But her attitude, her character is Fleischer. It's that snark.
Yeah.
Right?
Cool.
But yeah, she's stuck in this like blackberry bush, I guess, in the brambles, and she needs help getting out. And she says, "If you get me out, I owe you a favor."
Yeah.
To which Greg, and I love this, okay? This is why I love animation. His eyes, right? So you have the little black circles that are his eyes, yes? Like his iris and pupil is just the black circle.
Yeah.
He goes, oh, whoa, blinks. And when he opens his eyes, the blacks of his eyes are almost his entire eye at that point. Like his eyes get really big.
Yeah. That's I remember that like from Adventure Time animation too. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, just using exaggerated things, absurdist things that can happen in real life to communicate a message.
Yeah.
And I personally find it very funny.
Yeah.
Whenever that happens, if it's done well, which I think it is. And he goes, whoa, eyes get big. I get a wish.
Yeah.
Beatrice corrects him. I'm not magical. I'll just do you a good turn.
Yeah.
Can you turn me into a tiger? No. Again, not magical.
Yeah, which is like contrasting the Disney of it all.
Yes, an inversion, as you said, of the Disney sidekick, animal sidekick. But yeah, Greg lets Beatrice out. She's, you two are lost kids with no purpose in life. This is how she introduces herself.
I wrote that down. You two are lost kids with no purpose in life, right? I was like, whoa.
Any thoughts on that? Any suspicions?
Yeah, I wrote that down because I thought it was funny. Also, I think Wirt has some type of reaction to it where he's like, he has an expression to it of like,
yes.
Yeah. Like he's not happy about it.
He's not. Greg is just the ever optimist and he goes, uh-huh.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And Greg is what, 5?
Yeah. He's something.
Wirt is supposed to be at least, I would imagine.
He's a teen.
Yeah. 12, 13.
Yeah. I think he's in high school. Junior high. Undetermined. But yeah, basically Beatrice says, well, she'll bring them to Adelaide at the pasture and she can help them get home. So yeah, there's the animal guide who's going to help them out along the way.
Oh, okay. That's an animal?
Well, not Adelaide. I'm just saying the bluebird as far as being their guide to get them to Adelaide. I love Wirt's reaction, which is, I don't want to deal with any of this fairy tale shit.
Yeah.
I'm summarizing.
Yeah.
That's basically his reaction. He's like, I'm not going to Adelaide. I'm going to this village.
Yeah, I had a note about this as well. Adelaide of the pasture, the good woman of the woods. I wrote very Glinda the Good Witch coded.
Yes. So
that was like my Wizard of Oz reference that I clocked. But then, yeah, he literally says something about like fairy godmothers after that. Mm-hmm. And I was like,
yeah,
there she is. But we're not doing that. Again, like rejecting Disney.
Exactly. Pushing back against both paying homage to these things that came before it and pushing against them.
Yeah.
So yeah, Wirt is set and determined. They're going to this village. And so they march out of the forest and they come around this bend. And again, I think the sound design is so beautiful. Go and watch the show, please. But meanwhile, Greg decides to strike up a conversation with Beatrice. Let's small talk. Beatrice is like, oh, what's your name? He's like, I'm Greg. And she goes, I'm Beatrice. And he goes, and this is my brother Wirt. And she goes, who cares?
Yeah.
And then she basically is trying to convince Greg to ditch his brother and go with her to Adelaide's.
Okay.
Any thoughts?
Not really.
Keep
no.
asking. And yeah, he's been like, is it nice being a bird? Nope.
Right. Yeah.
And then Greg steps in a pumpkin.
Yeah.
And screams. And then Wirt steps in a pumpkin and kicks it off.
Yeah.
But they see the town in front of them at the bottom of a hill. And again, you got this beautiful establishing shot of rolling hills. It's very autumnal, green pastures. It's a colonial looking town with an old farmhouse and cottages.
Yep.
So cozy.
Maybe.
So cozy. I love it. And yeah, so they get into town, dirt roads, piles of hay everywhere. No one's around. Ghost town.
Yep. I wrote yikes, an abandoned town.
Yep.
Cool.
And even Beatrice points out, she goes, I don't think an abandoned ghost town's going to help you.
Right.
You should go to Adelaide's. Wirt takes this very personal. And so he goes to knock on the door of a nearby cabin, opens the door, and there's just a turkey with its head lying on the table.
I hated it.
And it looks up, and it just looks at him, and he leaves, and its head just goes right back on the table.
I didn't like it.
No. I'm curious if you caught this line. Wirt apologizes to the turkey and says, I'm sorry, I'm looking for a phone. Did you clock that?
No.
He's looking for a phone. When do you think this is set? Have you thought about that?
I guess I did not. No. I mean, based on what I've now seen, it seems like it's set in a time period before phones.
I have watched this so many times and I never realized he brought up a telephone here.
Oh, do you think this was...
It's intentional.
A boo-boo? Oh, okay.
No, it's intentional. But I am shocked the number of times I've watched this. I have never once clocked that he referenced modern technology. Because the show and the aesthetic and everything about it feels like, I don't know, 1800s, 1700s?
Yeah, 1800s maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels old.
Yeah, maybe older than that.
But yeah, eventually they hear singing coming from the barn at the end of the lane. And they decide to go peek inside. And as they do, the music gets louder. And it's a very folk kind of sound. There's fiddles. There's people singing in unison. It's very folksy. And the hay of the barn goes up as far as the ceiling. And there's this big figure
In the middle.
pumpkin head in the middle. And people are dancing around it with ribbons. Kind of like a maypole.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And all these people that are in this barn all have pumpkin heads.
Yeah.
And their limbs are made out of, well, it looks like they're made out of corn husks. Yeah, all of them. Every single one of them.
Yeah.
They're all doing different things. Some are shucking corn. Some are carving apples. There's a shot with two of them dancing in a circle with a cat. I don't know what that's referencing, but I know it's referencing something.
Something.
That is some kind of homage to animation. And yeah, someone, as the boys and Beatrice are peeking into this barn, someone, oh, let me just squeeze right past you there.
Yeah.
It's very Midwestern.
A little bit. I did notice that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he comments, you folks better don your vegetables and celebrate the harvest with us. Which then dawns on them, oh, these are just costumes.
Yeah.
They're not actually pumpkins.
It's
walking
fine.
around. They're just costumes. Were you sold on that?
Oh, no. Are you kidding me? No.
Yeah.
No, I wrote, brother, no, this is a cult.
It feels, to me, it feels incredibly Wicker Man.
Okay, I was going to say it later. I wrote, nah, what in the midsummer is this? So, yeah, we were tracking.
Yes. That's 100% the vibe of this. Which I can see why you would hate it if this is something that's supposed to be comical but also gives off midsummer vibes.
Oh, yeah. I was just, as I said, I was irked. I was deeply irked.
You're kind of supposed to be uncomfortable.
And I understand that, but yeah, not my first choice of show.
But yeah, Beatrice definitely points out how creepy everything is. And Wirt is like, it's not like a weird cult or anything. They're just celebrating the harvest. And Beatrice is just like, okay, you're in denial.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's going to try to find someone that can give him a ride home and tells Beatrice that she can leave. And she insists, no, I am honor bound. It's the Bluebird Code. She clearly made that up, by the way. And then I love this. Greg is like, Beatrice, would you care for this dance? And Beatrice is sitting on top of his kettle. And she goes, no, thanks. And I said, no, thank you. No, thank you. As he like goes into the dance floor and starts spinning around. And then the large pumpkin figure.
Yeah.
That's head is all the way in the rafters and a lot of dark shadow.
Yes.
Shifts.
Yep. It moves.
It moves. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Someone approaches Wirt and basically asks, aren't you a little too early? Weird thing to say.
Yeah.
And she just says, it doesn't look like you're ready to join us yet. And he's like, no, just passing through.
Yep.
And then she says, folks don't tend to just pass through Pottsfield.
Right.
Ominous.
Yeah. That's where I wrote the midsummer line.
Yeah. And then she just goes, it's nice here. People stay.
Yeah.
It's just creepy.
Yeah. Creepy as all fuck.
Yeah. And Wirt emphasizes, no, he just wants to leave and go home. And then all the music screeches to a stop. And someone goes, who says they want to leave? And the barn door shuts. And then the whole scene gets relatively dark.
Yeah.
Again, lots of black.
Yeah.
And yeah, they all start circling Wirt and Greg. And they start accusing him of like trying to steal their crops or something. And again, the shot, it to me is very cool because it's Wirt and Greg in the center. That's where the light is. And then all the pumpkin people are surrounding them. But all the pumpkin people are pretty heavily in shadow. So again, most of the frame that you see is blacks.
Yeah.
It's so cool. But they all start cornering them and ganging up on them. And then we hear this very deep voice basically saying, hold on, everybody. Let's not jump to any conclusions. And the massive pumpkin head moves down from the rafters in the dark into blinding light. And again, the contrast is so stark because it goes from black rafters to bright orange pumpkin head.
Yeah.
So it's not just a maypole. It's a creature.
It's a guy.
It's a guy. And like all the little
Pumpkin
streamers
guy.
are like his limbs.
Yeah, it's all just giving spooky.
Yes. Yeah. This giant pumpkin head is called Enoch.
Oh, he has a name?
He does.
Oh.
Yeah. And
Did they
all
say his name? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just missed it.
But yeah, he's like, what are you doing here? And I love Wart's answers. Because he's like, oh, you know, we just saw this place and we thought, here's a normal place with normal people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Basically, though, Enoch, like after they explain what they're there for, Enoch is like, oh God, where's the line? You come into our town, you trample on our crops, you interrupt our private engagement, and now you want to leave? And then Beatrice is just like, I'm out.
Yeah, that's exactly, that's what I was referencing before.
Yeah. She leaves, and Enoch is like, children, it saddens me you don't wish to stay here with us, particularly because I simply just have to punish you for your transgressions. I find you guilty of trespassing, destruction of property, disturbing the peace, and murder.
They're like, murder?
No, not murder. But for those other crimes, I sentence you to a few hours of manual labor.
Yeah. Yep.
Anticlimactic.
Yeah.
To which, yeah, Wart was super stressed, and then, just some manual labor. So there's a cute little montage of them doing work in the fields, right? Like getting corn, doing stuff with hay. I don't know what farmers do. I'm sorry, I'm not a farmer.
Yeah.
But yeah, Wirt and Greg seem to be happy about it. Beatrice is pissed off because she seems always pissed off.
Yeah.
I love her.
That is one of her character traits.
Yeah. And the final shot of the montage, I love this shot, is just one of the pumpkin people standing over the field with the flag and the wind rustling in it, and you get the sound. But like the scenery, the lighting has changed because clouds have moved in, so it's a very overcast.
Yep.
Like early, I guess late afternoon,
Yeah.
early evening feel. Like, to me that is the epitome of fall in that shot.
Sure.
So moody. I love it. And yeah, so Wart and Greg are on their last task of the day, which is digging holes.
Yep.
Where'd your mind go?
Oh, I immediately wrote, are they digging their own graves? Yep.
That's what Beatrice thinks. Yep. And then Greg is like, I found some buried treasure. And Wart's like, see, we're not digging our own graves. What'd you find, Greg? What'd you find?
Spooky, scary skeletons.
Spooky, scary skeletons. Yes, they're digging their own grave. And their time is up. The whole town is coming into the field to see what they've done. And the soundtrack here, too, is like a funeral march. It's like horns are playing.
Yep.
It sounds like a funeral march. It's
Yep.
great. Wart tells Beatrice to try and free them because they're shackled. He's like, undo our shackles.
Yeah.
I'll distract them.
Yeah.
He goes on this story about rocks, which I find hilarious, personally.
Yeah.
While Beatrice is picking the locks. And she picks hers. We don't know if she picks Wart's. She runs over to Greg's grave and picks his lock. And then you see Greg and Beatrice run away.
Just hightail it out of there.
Ditch.
Oh, yeah.
And Wart thinks he's left behind. And then in the background, as Wart's trying to explain the whole rock story, a skeleton climbs out of the grave.
Yeah. That was wild.
Yeah. And this is the skeleton dance here. This is the reference to the skeleton dance. Because even the skeleton that climbs out of the grave has 2 extra bones in his hand that he uses like a drum.
Okay.
Or like drumsticks.
I don't think I noticed that.
Skeleton dance. And yeah, the people, the pumpkin people of the town are so excited to see the skeleton. They immediately put a pumpkin on his skull.
Yeah.
And then he jumps his body into another pumpkin and punches his arms and legs out. And all the pumpkin people are skeletons.
Right.
Yes.
Right. And they say, welcome back, Larry. And I was like, welcome back, Larry.
They took up the life of the party.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm curious what you thought about this little plot twist.
I mean, I figured they weren't gonna die.
Yes.
But I did enjoy that it was like subverting the whole cult, thing. Yeah. I think what I liked about the scene with Wirt is like, I think this is kind of the first time he shows some backbone and like he thinks on his feet of like what to do compared to the first episode. He's like really, really scared of the beast.
Yeah, they're just running.
Yeah, he's very much a worrier. He's like constantly worrying about where they're going, what they're doing, what danger is out there, how to avoid it. And he's not very assertive as a character. He's the older brother and he's like theoretically in charge, but he doesn't really get there.
No,
So
that's actually the whole plot of episode 3.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Is how much of a pushover he is.
Yeah, okay. So this is the first kind of example I think of him, like when he's like, pick our locks and I'll distract them. I was like, oh, okay. Like you have a plan.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
thought that was good character development for him.
Yeah, and I personally love the subversion of, because at least the first time I watched it, I was like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
And what's going to happen to these children? This is a kid's show.
Yeah.
And like, it's building up the tension, it's building up the threat, and then it's just a bunch of skeletons looking for a good time.
Right. And I guess it does it a couple of times because the barn, when they're like surrounding them in the barn, and then it's like a few hours of manual labor.
Yeah.
Okay. And then again at like when they're digging the graves, quote unquote. So it's like it feels like I kind of expected it to happen again a second time.
Yeah.
But no, the skeleton crawling out of the hole did genuinely like get me for a second. I was like, oh, lol. It's just crawling out.
I love it. I love the animation of that skeleton.
Yeah.
Yeah. I personally, I think one of the big themes of the show is trying to understand what the danger actually is, and that constantly being subverted as to what's actually scary, what's actually threatening here. Like, things seem scary, things seem threatening, which I feel like is Halloween.
Sure.
But the fact is, they're never actually in danger.
No.
Which is a big theme of the show.
Right, and like they just run away.
Yeah.
And like no one's chasing them, no one's like coming after them.
They just get to leave.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where our episode ends, is Wirt catches up to Beatrice and Greg, tells Beatrice she can leave, and she goes, nope, you weren't in real danger. I didn't do my job yet. Let me take you to Adelaide. And yeah, that's just kind of where it ends. Final shot of that leaf that we saw at the opening of the episode, getting blown through the wind and getting stuck on a fence.
Stuck on a fence.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did write like what's with the leaf stuck in the fence.
I don't know.
Symbolic?
I mean, it could just be symbolic of these boys being lost and being blown on the wind and getting stuck somewhere unknown.
I guess it is like a bookend to the opening.
Yeah.
As well, so sure.
Yeah. All right. So that concludes episode 2. Any final thoughts before we jump into episode 4?
Let me see if I missed anything. Never explained the turkey. Like the turkey is sitting at a table.
Yeah.
Face down. He opens the door, the turkey sits up, looks at him, doesn't say anything, and then flops back down on
I
his
will
table.
admit, that is the one scene of this episode that I'm like, why are you in this?
Well, and like you can, like for this show, you can answer that question at any point with, it's absurd.
Yes.
But I didn't like it.
I didn't like, I'll be honest, I didn't like the turkey
Yeah.
in the cabin either.
Yeah, other than that. At this point, I was like, I do want to see who Adelaide is. I do kind of want to.
Well, then you just have to watch all 10 episodes.
No. I might look her up, though. Is she the scary witch lady you showed me?
No,
Okay.
but that's her sister.
It is Wizard of Oz coded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah. Adelaide, definitely. I'm calling it right now. Adelaide is Glinda, the good witch.
Voiced by John Cleese, by the way.
Yeah, okay. That tracks.
I love John Cleese.
All right, next one.
All right, so next we jump forward to episode 4.
Yeah.
I probably won't go into the plot as much because there's really only one thing I want to focus on for this whole episode.
Okay.
So, episode 4, we're in a dark forest, and the woodsman has his lantern. He's inspecting a tree.
Yeah, he's back.
Yeah, so the woodsman is a pretty important character throughout the show.
Cool. Yeah, there was like an interesting mystery.
There is, yes. So
introduced
episode
here.
1, as you saw, he is the woodsman. He goes through the woods, chops down trees, gathers wood
To make mysterious oil.
for this lantern.
Yeah.
That is his burden.
That's his burden.
That's what he
He
calls
must
it.
keep it lit.
Yeah, he has to keep the lantern lit, and it only lights with this particular oil from this particular tree,
Yeah.
and that's his thing. So, and he comes across Wirt and Greg and like gives them a place to stay and basically tells them leave, leave these woods.
In the beginning, he is also like dubiously like, is he gonna murder them?
Yeah.
Is he gonna help them? Like, it's all very unsettling.
Yes.
As is the theme.
And our episode opens on a shot of him inspecting one of these trees. And a cart goes whipping by on the road nearby, and this guy goes, "Oh no, the beast is upon me."
Yeah.
A very exaggerated voice. Greg and Wirt are hiding in the hay bale pile at the back of this cart. And yeah, Beatrice is upset, as she always is, because this guy who's clearly bananas is taking him way off course. When Greg looks outside of the hay bale, he didn't see a beast out there, right? So he's like, I don't know what this guy's scared of. It's just the woods.
Yeah.
Right? But there's a flash of lightning. The horse gets even more scared and skittish. There's a sharp bend in the road. And so as the horse takes the corner, the hay and all of its passengers go flying out.
Yeah.
And they land in front of a tavern. How convenient.
It's very.
Yes. I can't believe they drew the tavern this way. It is a 2-story brick building with 2 windows total.
I don't know if I noticed.
There is a window on the second floor where there's a man silhouetted in it, and then a window on the ground floor next to the horse stable, and that's it. Otherwise, it's just a solid brick building.
Okay.
I am so curious why.
Yeah.
It's so bizarre.
I mean, to make it more creepy.
Yeah, I suppose. But yeah, it's this brick building, tavern, 2 windows, a horse stable with a horse,
Yep.
and a single lantern outside of the building. Otherwise, everything else is dark woods. It's thunderstorming. That's where they're going to go,
Yeah.
right? And Beatrice is like, oh, good. Well, then we can look for directions, right? And ask around. And yeah, and Bort is just like, okay, we can, but you have to ask. You have to do the asking.
Yeah, exactly.
Again, not a lot of backbone. And the woodsman is mysteriously watching them from behind a tree as they go into the tavern. So yeah, Wirt tries to open the tavern door, and it's kind of stuck. Pan down to reveal a dog. Again,
Yeah. Sheepdog.
This is one of those things where I'm like, go watch this particular moment because I think it's hilarious. And it all comes down to character design and how it's animated. And I'm not going to do a good job describing it. Basically, Wart pushes the door open. The dog rolls like a hot dog across the floor. Legs stiff as a board straight up. Like, it's funny.
Yeah.
To me. And again, that's why I love animation.
No, I did enjoy the dog.
I love what kind of comedy can be mined from just a drawing.
True.
It's great. But yeah, we pan around the tavern. We see a woman sweeping. There's a dude at a table with a meat cleaver. Another man with a rope tied around his waist attached to a boy who's tied onto the other end of the rope.
Yeah.
A very sad looking man. A dude Blair Witching in the corner against the wall.
What's that mean?
He's just facing the wall.
Okay.
He's facing the wall. His arms are at his side and he's just facing a wall. He's Blair Witching.
Cool.
And then there's a stage with a band. And there's like a dude whistling. And it's very creepy music.
It's very
moody.
It's not nice.
No. Greg and Wart take a seat at a table, and Greg immediately goes to get some food because he's hungry and he will not shut up about it. And then we get the tavern keeper who comes over and says, "Hey, Peach Pie, what you doing around? Hey, what's that bird you got there?" She's very, what character did you think of when you saw this tavern keeper?
I don't know.
Betty Boop didn't come to mind?
Oh, no.
She's modeled after Betty Boop.
Okay.
Down to her voice acting, like her accent, which is like that New York type accent, like all of it's Betty Boop.
Okay.
But yeah, she sees Beatrice and smacks Beatrice with the broom because she says,
Right, no birds.
"No birds. Birds are bad luck."
Yeah.
Beatrice is like, "I'm a bluebird. We're good luck."
We're literally good luck.
Yeah. And she goes, "Good luck, bad luck. I don't need any of it." And I love Beatrice. Curse you, lady. You'll die someday and I'll laugh. Ha ha. But she hits her with the broom again.
Yeah.
And Beatrice is like, "Screw this. Wirt, get the directions.
Like, you're on your own.
I'm going to be outside." Yeah. And the woman is like, "Who are you?" And he goes, "I'm Wirt. This is Greg." And then Greg goes, "That's a horse." And there's the horse in the window.
Yeah.
And she goes, "Yeah, but who are you?" And he's like, "I'm Wirt. I'm just a guy." And then it's panning around the room as the tavern keeper points to the different people. And she goes, "He's the butcher, the baker, the midwife who coughs out a fish, master and apprentice." The master tugs the rope to bring the little boy apprentice closer. They're the ones who have the rope tied around him. "The tailor." He starts crying because he's just crying this whole episode. That's never explained. And then she's the tavern keeper. And "Who are you?" And Greg is just like, "I'm hungry."
Right.
Wart, I love, this is like such a teenage response. I don't know. I don't really like labels. I'm just me. And did you get this line? Did this line get you? Because this line gets me every time. Where Wart's like, "I'm just me." And then the master goes, "Maybe he's simple."
Yeah. Does he say something else? Okay, I wrote a line down where like they're asking, who are you? Who are you? Who are you? And I thought at one point he says, I don't know, I'm just lost, which I thought was very telling.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I feel like not just true for the story, but true for his character.
yeah, I exactly. It's like,
Yeah.
we are speaking to multiple levels of story here. But yeah, I just wrote that down. I just wrote, So.
Yeah. And Wart is, he's trying to explain that they're just lost and they're just trying to get home. And then all of a sudden we hear the guy that was Blair Witching. We hear him go, I'm the highwayman.
Yeah.
He goes, okay. Anyway. And then he goes, I'm the highwayman. Cue jazz music, right? And it cuts to this character on the stage with the band around him. Again, cool character design. He's very blocky, very square.
Yeah.
Which contrasts to how he dances very well. So yeah, he sings a song about how he's the highwayman. And how would you describe his dance?
Upsetting. Listen, everyone, particularly this episode, I was like, everyone is so unsettling.
You would hate Fleischer animation.
Yeah, I like all my notes here are just the highwayman. Oh, good, a song. And then and then when the song was over, I just wrote, that was upsetting.
So it's an interesting dance that this character does. He sings the song about how he is a highwayman. I don't even know what the lyrics are.
No.
But the dance move itself is, I don't know, it's so fascinating. The movement is both stiff and yet sometimes very fluid. Limbs are very exaggerated in their movement. They're very rubbery too, and like his face stretches and distorts at certain points. All of that is Fleischer.
Okay.
Particularly the 1933 Snow White. So this is where I am gonna, sorry listeners, we are gonna watch a quick YouTube video.
Okay.
Just to show Amanda this beautiful bit of animation history.
All right, you pull that up. I'm going to call a break real quick first.
Yes.
Bathroom and lights.
While Amanda flicks on the lights and goes to the bathroom, basically this is the 1933 Fleischer Brothers Snow White. So if you want to look it up yourself and watch it, I will find the timestamp for you. Okay. You do not need to listen, or you do not need to watch this whole thing. If you fast forward ahead to minute 4, like 4 minutes, 20 seconds, 4:20 baby, you will see the scene that I'm going to reference here. Okay, so you just saw the clip.
I did.
Of the dance scene from the Fleischer Brothers Snow White. Thoughts?
Similar to our highwayman?
Similar to our highwayman. That scene from the Fleischer Brothers was Cab Calloway. That's how Cab Calloway danced.
Okay, I was going to ask you that, if
Yes.
it was the jazz guy.
Yeah, and that's actually him singing in that scene. Yeah. So not only did they get him to actually, like, they took his music, they also had him dance, and then they would animate on top of it for their characters.
So, like, the bit where his, like, knees go down.
There's so many weird movements.
I'm like, are you good?
Well, Cab had a very unique dance style. Like, a lot of that, like, fluid motion and, like, bending in weird ways.
Yeah.
That's all Cab. Obviously, when he turns himself into a gold chain, that's not.
Unfortunately,
or his head into a bottle.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, but it's very exaggerated movement.
Yeah.
The character is very stretchy and very rubbery.
Very.
And this is actually, it didn't start with the Fleischers, but I feel like the Fleischers perfected rubbery movement is what I would call it. I don't want to go on too much about like how to animate a character because it's hard to talk about in a podcast.
Yeah.
But you can either have very stiff, realistic movement or very rubbery, snappy, bendy, which is Fleischer. And I feel like the Highwayman dance not only respects this particular piece of animation history, but also just that style of bendy, weird, warped, exaggerated, the way his face stretches at certain parts.
Right. It's not something you really see a lot today.
Not at all.
It's like we are much more, I guess it like speaks to more of the Disney legacy of animation and like, if these guys had figured out how to market themselves better and not had so much infighting.
Yeah. The face of animation would look a lot different today.
Quite potentially. Yeah. You never know.
That's for sure. God, it's so good. This is literally my favorite animation. Like the animation itself, not just like this thing, but the way that it is drawn and moves.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite things ever. I watched that so much.
It's very unique.
Yeah. And that is literally the only reason I wanted to watch this episode of Over the Garden Wall.
Okay.
So we can ignore the rest. I will rapid fire through this.
Yeah, go for it.
But that was the main point, is I wanted to talk about the Highwayman. But yeah, so the rest of the interactions here. I lost my spot in my notes.
While you're looking for that, I'll make a few quick points.
Yeah.
One of the first questions I wrote down for this episode is, why is everyone dressed like the founding fathers? Like, and that speaks to your point.
Taylor does kind of look like Ben Franklin.
Yes, I wrote that down. I wrote that down. I literally wrote, the Taylor looks like Ben Franklin.
Yeah.
I was so confused. And I think that speaks to your point from earlier of like, the fuck time period are we in? And it kind of matches what we saw in the in episode 2 with like, it's like, you know, like a village. It's like vaguely old timey.
Some kind of colonial vibes.
Right. But those weren't real people. So we didn't see like, or I guess we did see some of them wearing clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The women had dresses.
Yeah.
And bonnets.
Yeah. So
all
that
the women have bonnets.
Kind of matches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It did feel like there was a general vibe of like that, you know, 1776 roughly.
Yeah.
And
roughly this exact
roughly
date.
But then like the Ben Franklin like thing made me think, okay, is everyone here supposed to be,
I don't know,
a historical reference somehow, or
possibly?
And I didn't like look closely enough to figure that out, but
I would probably argue that this is more just speaks to, because to me Over the Garden Wall is uniquely American, both in the like storytelling but the aesthetic. And so I feel like it just speaks more to how heavily they leaned into Americana as a style.
Sure. And then later, and maybe you're gonna get to this, but they characterize him as the young lover, and then a pilgrim.
Yes.
Which also, that's even earlier, but I just wrote like, oh, he's being like forced into a role.
Right.
In this, like,
they're trying to cast him.
Yeah.
Basically. Because they keep asking like, who are you? Wart?
Yeah.
Who are you?
Not to bring WandaVision back into the conversation.
Oh, snap.
Kind of.
Kind of. Because Wart goes to ask a dude that seems fairly friendly for directions to Adelaide's, and this guy immediately assumes, oh, it's the girl you're after. And then we get another whole song and dance, and they call Wart the young lover. And he goes, no, that's not what I am. And then he explains that, hey, we're lost, we're trying to find this person. They go, oh, you're a pilgrim, that's what you are. So they call him a pilgrim. Beatrice, meanwhile, is outside angrily talking to this horse, looks at the horse at one point and goes, are you wearing lipstick? And the horse licks its lips and then flares its nostrils at her.
Sure.
Just cause. Eventually Beatrice goes to the window and asks Greg, like, hey, how's Wart doing? And then she just sees the entire pub throwing Wart into the air going, yeah, the pilgrim, or young lover, or whatever.
Yeah.
And Greg's like, good.
He's eating.
Yeah. So Beatrice, fed up, decides she's going to find a way to get directions herself. Out in the woods, we hear singing, la 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 la, la 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 la, chop the wood to light the fire.
Yeah.
And the woodsman's out there. And so she goes, well, I bet he knows these woods really well. Maybe I'll go ask him for directions. So Beatrice flies off. Meanwhile, back in the tavern, Wart finally gets a word in and finally explains, we're lost. We're looking for Adelaide. We're looking for Adelaide of the pasture, the good woman of the woods. And I love the little apprentice is like, you don't need directions, pilgrim. Follow the compass inside your heart.
Yeah. And Wart's response is,
no, I think we need directions.
Yeah. I laughed at that, and like I wrote a note that was like anti-Disney.
Yeah. Yes. This is at least somewhat tries to be grounded in reality.
Yeah.
Question?
Well, or at least just not so. It's not like fanciful. It's not like rainbows and butterflies type of fairy tale energy at all. No, it's more. Actually, I would say it's more along the lines of like Grimm's Brothers.
Absolutely.
Like if we're gonna go with a fairy tale comparison, it's more of that like dark and sinister.
How have I never connected that before? You're 100% right.
Thank you very much. That's my contribution for this evening.
Yes. But yeah, Wart, as he's telling them their story, says, "Oh, we met this helpful woodsman who gave us directions and told us to avoid the beast." And everyone gasped, and they all know about the beast. Betty Boop gets her song. She sings about beware the beast.
There's an awful lot of songs.
Yeah, there's a lot of music, which is also why I like to harken back to the Disney and the silly symphonies, and music and animation went hand in hand as soon as sound on film became a thing.
Right.
So I do think a lot of this episode is paying homage to that.
Yeah.
Personally.
Also irritating me.
Yeah, this is not my favorite episode. I just like the dance.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Betty Boop tavern keeper basically warns them of he who has the lantern is the beast. If the woodsman has the lantern, the woodsman is the beast.
Right, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, and he's like, no, he was a good guy. He warned us about the beast.
Yeah.
He gave us directions. And
I was like, finally some intrigue.
Yeah. But yeah, and as the tavern keeper points out, the boys are now more lost than ever after following the advice of the woodsman.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I think she makes a comment, too, in her song where she says, the beast will turn you into a tree of oil and use you for his lantern.
Okay.
Yeah. So at this point,
and
it's
we
established.
know the woodsman has the lantern, and he's mining the oil.
Yes. Yeah. And I don't know if it's fully established at this point or if this is the first hint of it, but people get turned into trees by this beast.
Oh, no.
Okay.
I don't think I got that.
If you hadn't picked up on that, then it's not fully established at this point. But that's kind of the lore that's going on. Is the beast will, turn people into this tree. The woodsman gets the oil from the trees and burns it in the lantern.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. And it's a very particular type of tree. It's not just any tree in the woods.
Okay.
But yeah, they hear a scream, a distant scream, and it's Beatrice. And then the Betty Boop tavern keeper, go save your friend and get yourself home. I just want to point out her arm pump movement is very characteristic of early animation.
Sure.
Of that loop animation. So essentially you draw a walking loop is the most common example.
Yeah.
You draw the loop of movement and you just recycle that loop over and over again. And so that's what her arm movement is. And it's very Fleischer-esque. I love it, personally. It does look a little weird and out of place, but I think it's sorry.
I mean, this whole show is weird and out of place, so sure.
Very true. But yeah, Wart actually shows some bravery here.
Yeah.
The crowd is cheering him on, which probably gives him that extra little boost that he needs, but he goes out into the rain, grabs the horse, grabs his brother, grabs the lantern, and runs into the woods.
Yeah.
To go save Beatrice. And yeah, when they go into the woods, this is the part that I thought was Wizard of Oz. They come across one of the trees, the Edelwood trees, and it looks like a face that's in pain. There's it's a dead tree. There's holes in the bark. So it looks like this face in pain, and its limbs look like arms. And to me, that looks like the trees in the Wizard of Oz that throw apples at Dorothy.
Okay.
Yeah. But also I feel like that type of drawing, I don't know, it's something that seems familiar.
Sure.
But you can't quite place.
Yeah, no, it does. Actually, you know what it reminds me of now that I'm thinking about it? It reminds me of A Nightmare Before Christmas, sort of.
Ooh.
What's the character from The Nightmare Before Christmas?
The dude that wants to become Santa Claus? That's the
Jack?
sack dude?
No, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
What's his name? I don't know.
Can't think of it.
Whatever. It kind of reminds me of him.
Okay. Yeah, actually.
So,
yeah.
Something a little Burton-esque, I guess.
True. Another through line.
Yeah.
Another little connection. I love it.
That is claymation, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 100% clay. Or stop motion. Probably clay.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. We should talk about Burton one episode.
Sure.
Anyway, they get into the woods. They come across the woodsman.
Yeah.
And they see Beatrice passed out at the foot of a tree.
By the tree.
Which Wart does yell, you're turning her into an Edelwood tree. You are the beast.
Okay.
He yells this at the woodsman.
Yeah.
And the woodsman's face goes from angry, because he was like, I told you not to be in these woods. So he goes from angry, and then as soon as Wart says, you are the beast, the woodsman's face looks very sad and very upset. He does not like hearing that.
No.
But Wart, clever move, blows out his lantern. And because we're in the dark woods at night, the scene goes black. And we get a shot of the woodsman in this tiny circle of light. Again, most of the shot is just black. It's just him in this little tiny center of the frame, little bit of light.
Yeah.
And then the horse like rears up into the light and scares the woodsman.
Yeah.
Wart grabs his leg. Greg grabs Beatrice. Wart kicks the lantern that the woodsman has. And
yes.
it
sets
spills,
the tree on fire.
Yeah, it spills the oil and sets the tree on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then...
Which is like, if that's a person, shit. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The boys get away.
Yep.
That's yeah. The
And
boys
then we
get
get
away.
this little end cap scene.
Yeah. Well, before we do, the boys did get directions. They got it from the horse, Fred.
Right.
Who can talk.
I laughed.
Yeah.
They did get
That's
me there.
Fred Stoller.
Fred the horse.
Yeah.
It
Nice
reminded
to
me.
horse your acquaintance.
Yeah. That was dumb. But just the fact that the horse could talk was funny.
Yes.
Your Doctor Who episode that has the horse.
Oh.
What did he name? What is the horse named? Fred?
No.
What'd they name the horse?
What'd they name the horse?
I thought it was.
I thought it was George. Doesn't sound right though.
I thought it was Fred, but I could be wrong. I can go up to my notes maybe.
I was like, yeah, I could go find it in my notes if you really want to know.
I kind of do now.
All right, who can get to it first?
Right.
Search page for horse.
Oh, you're doing it
Oh
the
yeah.
smart way.
Oh yeah.
Arthur.
Shoot, you got there first. Yeah.
Good
you're
name
right.
for a horse.
Good solid name.
You're not keeping the horse. I let you keep Mickey. Throwback. Cool.
All right.
Sorry,
anyway.
go ahead.
End cap scene.
Yes.
Yeah, this is the little mystery box of the show.
Easily the best, like my most enjoyed part of this whole thing.
I'm going to spoil the whole show for you.
Please do.
At the end of this.
Please do.
But we get this end scene. Again, I need to so the woodsman is regaining control of the lantern and the fire, right? So he's got like the stack of sticks and branches on his back
Right.
that he's going to turn into oil. And he's picking up his lantern. Or I guess his lantern's on his belt now at this point. And I'm going to describe the scene again because I think it's so beautifully done. Pitch black woods, okay? Most of the scene is in black. You've got the woodsman in a little circle of light from his lantern. And then there is a gap in the trees.
Yep.
So there's a little misty gray. But in that misty gray gap, there is a silhouette of a very tall, cloaked figure with long, spindly antlers and 2 white dots for eyes.
Yes. Yeah.
So creepy.
I wrote shadowy beast with branch horns.
Yes. Yeah, do you want to, describe this particular scene?
I would like you to give me the walkthrough because I only just have, a random few notes written down. But I really liked it.
A very short, simple exchange where the beast says, "It seems like you're running out of oil, woodsman. Why not me take the lantern for a while?"
Right.
And
Well, yeah, first of all, it's very clear without anybody saying anything that this is the
That's
actual
the beast.
yes.
Yeah, yeah. It's not the woodsman. That is the actual beast. And the woodsman yells, "I fought you for the lantern before, and I'll fight you again." I'm doing my best impression.
You're doing great. You're doing awesome.
And yeah,
Better than me.
The beast responds with, "No need for violence, but be sure to keep it lit, or your daughter's flame will go out forever." La 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 la. Chop the wood to light the fire.
So it was him
Creepy.
singing before,
Yeah.
not the woodsman.
Nope.
Yeah.
It was the beast.
And they also, you didn't say, but they show the lantern flame for a minute.
Yeah.
And a woman dancing in the flame.
Yes, and it's it almost the music almost sounds like one of those little what are they called? Help me out here.
Music box.
Like a music box.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like that creepy little music box kind of twinkly
Yeah.
tone.
Yeah.
And a disembodied voice, and a little figure dancing in the flame.
Yeah. That to me, that was my favorite bit of animation. That little
That
flame
was
lady.
cool. That was very
I was like,
cool.
that was sick.
And then we end on a beautiful shot of the moon and some dead silhouetted trees.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gorgeous. Yeah, okay, so that
And
little
then
bit of
credits.
intrigue.
Intrigue. Yeah. I wrote lots of questions here at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Literally the last 2 minutes.
Yes.
It just hit you with 10 questions.
Because there is an arc to the show.
Yeah. Yeah, did I miss a major thing in episode 3?
Nope.
Okay. So this is kind of the first through line then.
Yeah.
That we're making.
Because we met the woodsman in the first episode,
Right,
right?
exactly.
And so this is the first time he's making an appearance again.
Yes.
Yeah. So this whole time we're vaguely aware that there's a beast out there, that the boys are in danger, but we don't.
There's nameless danger about, except for it's called the beast.
Mm-hmm. And this is the first time where that danger is starting to become manifest.
Right. Exactly.
For us viewers.
Yes. Yeah. It's not so amorphous anymore. Mm-mm. Cool. The credits give old film vibes.
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah. I got nothing to add to that, but yes.
Yep. That was my note.
So, those are the episodes. 2 more things I want to talk about. 1, I shouldn't have had that smoothie.
Yeah.
All right. 1, I do want to spoil the rest of the show.
Please.
Because you're not going to watch it.
Probably not.
And then 2, I want to talk about the art style and influences and all of that.
Okay.
So, if you, dear listener, do not want to be spoiled, jump ahead.
Yes.
I will try to insert a timestamp. Otherwise, stick around for spoilers of the arc of the show.
Sure.
So, basically, the arc is the boys continue to make their way through the woods. More and more shenanigans happen. The boys get more and more lost, right? So we come to the scene where the boys are falling asleep in the woods as it's starting to snow. And Greg has a fever dream that is very reminiscent of the fever dream of silent era animation. It's beautifully horrible.
Okay.
I love it. Basically, Wart is too lost, and Greg has to leave him behind, and Wart's slowly turning into an Edelwood tree. And Greg is like, I'm going to go sacrifice myself to the beast instead of Wart. So Greg goes off, and Beatrice eventually comes across Wart, which, by the way, Adelaide, good lady of the woods, not so good.
Oh, bummer.
No, it turns out her sister, who looks super evil and creepy, was the good one.
Oh.
And Adelaide, who also looks super creepy and evil, is just evil.
Okay.
And she's the one who turned Beatrice into a bluebird, as well as Beatrice's entire family. And bluebird lives are very short. So Beatrice was trying to lure the boys there in exchange for her and her family to be turned into humans again.
Okay. That explains a lot.
Yeah. But so they separate for a bit. Beatrice, though, does return, and she finds Wart sort of slowly being consumed by one of the trees and starting to turn into a tree himself. Kind of like that, the scene in Lord of the Rings that's not in the movies.
Yeah. Where they get sucked into the trees.
Yeah. But yeah, they have to go and find Greg and try to save Greg. And before that happens, we get a flashback of how the boys got lost.
Okay.
And it's a neighborhood, a contemporary neighborhood in our time.
Yeah.
And they're getting ready for Halloween and trick-or-treat. Oh. And Greg is going as an elephant, which is why he has the kettle, because that's his trunk.
Okay.
Is the spout of the tea kettle.
All right.
And Wart wasn't going to go at all, but this girl he has a crush on is going to go to this party, so he throws together whatever he has, and he does his best. And that's where Wart's outfit comes from.
Sure.
Is his best attempt. So they go to the homecoming football game. Wart has a mixtape that he's going to give to his crush. He chickens out. And, like, the popular girls have it at some point, like, you know, whatever. And Wart is too shy to approach his crush. People think he's trying to, like, creep on her in the changing room because she's the school mascot. Okay. And he's just waiting out there to, like, give her the mixtape. But he gets chased off. And basically, him and Greg end up falling into a semi-frozen river.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh,
so.
no. Oh, no. So this is literally a fever dream.
Yeah. So back
or
in
a coma dream.
Coma dream, kind of, yeah. So back in the unknown, where they are, they're fighting the beast. And it kind of comes to the conclusion, like, Wart figures it out. The lantern, the soul inside the lantern, isn't the woodsman's daughter. It's the beast's soul.
Okay.
And so the only reason the beast has power over people is because they are feeding him his power. They are giving it to him. Okay. It's not the daughter. The daughter's soul was never in the lantern.
The daughter's soul does not exist?
Nope.
The daughter
She's
does not
dead.
exist?
She's just dead.
Oh, so he's like controlling the woodsman.
Yeah, by making him think that this lantern is the only thing that's keeping his daughter's spirit alive.
Okay.
But it's actually the beast's spirit that's being kept alive in the lantern.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if this is a coma dream, is the beast representing something?
See, I don't know. Like, thematically, because I mentioned this earlier, thematically, there are so many beats of you think you're in danger, but you're not.
But you're not.
And that includes the Beast. You think you're in danger with the Beast, but he actually doesn't, like, when they get to the final showdown, the Beast has no power. He can't touch them. He can't do anything to them. He just intimidates them. But I don't know, because they actually are
in
about
danger
to drown in a river.
right.
So I don't know.
So then what's the ending? What happens?
Greg gets fished up out of the river. He like helps them also get Wart out of the river. Greg's fine. Wart's in the hospital. His girl that he has a crush on has this mixtape somehow. Someone gave it to him, and she's like, I don't have a cassette player. And he goes, oh, that's okay. You don't have to listen to it. And she goes, well, can I come over to yours and listen? And he goes, oh, okay, yeah. I don't know.
Okay, so everybody lives.
Everyone lives. Everything's fine. Back in the unknown, Beatrice and her entire family are humans again. And there's like a bunch of little scenes that conclude in the unknown that everything's right with the world again. Okay. Basically.
Interesting. So like, it does kind of have a fairy tale ending in that sense then.
Yes. Yeah. And and that's why too, like Wizard of Oz and Alice in Wonderland, of these boys being in a world that they shouldn't be in.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was completely shocked when I was like, oh, this is happening in contemporary times. Yeah. And that's why I was so surprised that I never clocked him saying I was looking for a phone.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I am kind of disappointed that there's no more story to the woodsman's daughter and the woodsman's...
You don't get
the daughter's soul.
Tragically.
Yeah, the daughter's soul being in the flame. I was like, that sounds cool.
I honestly think it's more interesting, though, that he was just manipulated this entire time.
Yeah.
And, like, also just the ethical conundrum that he was facing of, like, keeping... Yeah, because it is interesting. Like, I'm keeping my daughter alive by sacrificing other people, but she's just a flame spirit at this point.
Right.
And then to find out that that's still not even your daughter, like, I don't know. I think it's a really interesting concept.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's all interesting either way.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm so sad you'll never watch it, but at least you know about it now.
Listen, maybe a couple of years will go by and we'll be hanging out around Halloween time.
Little nostalgia.
And you'll convince me to watch, to binge it in a night. That could happen.
It's very easily bingeable.
I could see, if I was going to watch it, I would want it to be with other people.
Fair.
I think that was part of the problem, is I was watching it by myself, and I was like...
Next season on the show off.
No, I didn't say that. But yeah, I could see myself enjoying it more with other people. Yeah. And being able to be like, all the what the fuck parts... Just being able to commiserate.
You should be able to say what the fuck. I mean, that's part of it. I think that is part of the aesthetic of the comedy, is just the what the fuck element.
Yeah.
Which I cherish.
I do like knowing, like, okay, the teapot does actually have a purpose.
And that first episode when he's throwing candy.
Yeah, candy from Halloween.
It's from trick-or-treating.
Yeah, okay. Cool. Yeah, that's good. That's good storytelling.
Okay, so now the last thing I want to talk about to wrap up this discussion is the art and the influences and just some of the production history behind this. This is not something that could exist today. Like, it could not be made today. There is nothing in the current setup of Hollywood that would ever allow this to happen.
Over the Garden Wall?
Yes. Because again, as I stated at the top of the episode, it is a miniseries, which is one of 7 miniseries that Cartoon Network ever produced. And one of 2 that is original IP. And from the start, they knew it was going to be a miniseries, and that was it.
Sure.
And the whole goal and intention of the show was to be a Halloween special that would be replayed every single year, with the hopes of it becoming a cult classic, which it has.
More or less, yeah.
Yeah. And I like that concept in and of itself of let's create something to be a cult classic.
Right. That can get re-aired.
Yeah. But then to nail the landing, too.
Right.
Yeah.
Why do you think it's not possible that could happen again, though?
Personally, cult classics to me are something that's lightning in a bottle, first of all. But then I'm going to keep kind of getting into how bizarre it is that this show happened.
God made it all.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'll just run through my notes as I kind of explain it. But yeah, everything about the series is weird, as we've been talking about. And the creators know that.
Yeah.
And incredibly risky for a network to do.
Sure.
And that includes the visual style. Nick Cross, who is the art director, said it felt like we were making an independent film in a lot of ways. The studio gave them a ton of free reign to do whatever they want.
Wow.
Mikhail, I do like this. Mikhail's goal with making this was an attempt to trick kids into liking stuff they normally would think was old and boring, which is so much of this is inspired by old animation, including the art style. But then his other goal was to also show adults that kids' entertainment could be more sophisticated than they thought. And like these darker themes of storytelling, and it's not just goofy, like there's actual emotions that are being played on screen.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, going like in our previous discussion about Avatar: The Last Airbender and Legend of Korra too.
Yeah.
Same thing, like a lot of really big themes.
Absolutely.
And, you know, it's a quote unquote kids show.
Yeah, and even Korra in itself is like, how did this get made?
For real.
Barely.
The answer is barely.
Barely, yeah. And I feel like any kind of children's entertainment especially, any kind of sophistication is always thrown out the window in the pursuit of profit. Let's just, whatever the kids like, we're going to pump it out as much as possible, as quick as possible. Yeah. Like no real content and a lot of that stuff.
That said, though, like I do think there are more and more examples to the contrary of that. Like, do you know all the mania around Bluey?
Oh, no. So,
yeah,
no, my argument here, I think people take for granted how much sophistication is in animation.
Sure, okay.
I think the studios themselves do not care, is my point that I'm trying to make.
Okay.
But I do agree with you. I think animation in and of itself and children's entertainment is taken for granted.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Nick Cross, again, the art director, said the studio wanted to do it, so they were willing to try something different and take a risk. None of us actually knew how to make a miniseries. It was like making a feature in chapters. We figured it out as we went along, which was weird because Cartoon Network just let us do it. This is a quote.
Yeah.
It felt like we were getting away with something. Personally, I was excited to make something that hadn't been done on TV before. It felt like proving a point.
Yeah, cool.
So yeah, Cartoon Network just gave them the green light and literally let them do whatever they wanted. There was very little oversight from the studio.
Right.
They just trusted these people to do their job and make art as well as an entertaining miniseries. So this is a large part of why I'm like, you couldn't do this. So kind of continuing on that too, it's very important to keep in mind that so much of TV, especially animation, is done as cheaply as possible, right? It's, you know, you think back to our era, like Dexter's Laboratory, Powerpuff Girls, Power or Powder?
Powerpuff, yeah.
Powerpuff Girls, yeah. Even like Phineas and Ferb, like simple art style, blocks of color, static shots, very little, like when the characters are talking, there's very little movement. It's just them talking, right?
Yeah.
Simplistic stuff, right? That is the going rate for how animation is done because you got to crank it out. This is not that.
No.
There is so much care that's put into it.
But it's a miniseries.
Especially into the art. And that's why. Cartoon Network, another quote, Cartoon Network said, do whatever we want. So we just went crazy. It was time consuming, which is why most shows don't look like Over the Garden Wall. For TV, it doesn't work. You have to keep moving and moving.
Yeah.
Because we only did 10 episodes, it was fine. I don't think we could have done a full series. It would have been too much.
Yeah.
But we knew we were only doing a 100-meter dash so we could run as fast as possible. So again, another reason why you wouldn't ever find anything like this.
Yeah.
It'd be hard to.
That's interesting though, again, like comparing to Avatar and Legend of Korra, like I do feel like that style is quite beautiful though.
I agree.
In a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So what's their excuse? I'd love to know. But yeah. I mean, for sure though, when you think about more of those shows that we grew up with and it's like the kinds of shows that like kind of went on forever, like SpongeBob.
Oh yeah.
Like,
oh God, great example.
Right. It's easy to see why when you have those kind of repeatable elements.
Yeah, and stuff that you can just reuse over and over and over again. Same backgrounds, right? Because the characters are in the same place every time. Not the case for Over the Garden Wall. They're always in a different location.
Right, and then at that point, it's just coming up with stories.
Yeah. And then, like talking about the aesthetics, it's described as warped Americana, old cartoons, and classic illustrations, heavily inspired by old Halloween postcards. So Patrick McHale, the showrunner, loved old holiday postcards, and he would collect them. The old, chromiolithographs.
Oh, okay.
Just
what
because
a weirdo.
It felt super artistic, and they're weird. And some of the ones, like I've seen pictures of the ones that he collected, and there's some with like witches flying over like a colonial town, or like a frog holding something, like a very goofy looking frog.
Okay.
Yeah. So a lot of the style, especially the opening credits and like the title cards, come from those old postcards that he loves to collect.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. And then with Nick Cross coming in, Nick Cross saw the first pencil render of the concept art. And they sent it to him and being like, hey, would you be interested in getting involved? And as soon as he saw the pencil drawing, he thought, this looks like an old Disney background. I'm in. So even like Nick Cross was on the same page. He was a big fan of old cartoons and like historical animation moments. And like his roots are in painting and illustration, but he also did a lot of like his personal animation style was retro.
Nice.
And so it was like this perfect marriage.
Yeah,
between
meeting
the
of
two.
the minds.
Yeah. And like even Cross said like it was such a unique project for him to work on because he's worked in the industry for years and he always does the same stuff. And again, cheap as possible, crank it out, just commercial stuff. This was something different. He could actually be artistic with it. And so all of the backgrounds that you see, almost all of them are his. I think the second episode in particular where I spent so much time describing the backgrounds, that's all his work.
Nice.
And so you like art.
I do like art.
You know about art.
Kind of.
I'm going to read this quote from him about his philosophy for the art for the show.
Ooh.
And you got to tell me what you think because I'm so curious. So I read this and I was like, this is fascinating. So he said the idea, well, first of all, let me back up a little bit. Yeah, the network gave him free reign on style. And his philosophy is, I like things to look elaborate. The show is a chance to do things that I always wished I could do in TV animation, like play light and dark in a realistic and cinematic way. The idea of not using black in painting is actually a fairly modern convention. Historically, painters have always used black in oil painting anyway.
Yep.
It was the Impressionists that first moved away from it since black theoretically doesn't exist on the visible spectrum. And that was what they were trying to capture. But I feel like it's been sort of a rule ever since. Even though people don't paint like Impressionists anymore, it's sort of one of those crazy ideas that gets regurgitated in art school by people who don't necessarily know why. Long story short, since the art style of the show is based on old paintings and illustration, the color theory is more based on academic style, which traditionally uses black.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fascinating. And for sure, like if you look at, old oil paintings, a lot of the ones, and I think a lot of the ones that I'm drawn to and that you're drawn to are the ones where it's like very dark and like there's, maybe like a single light source that's kind of just illuminating the figure of the painting or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And that, the whole like chiaroscuro effect, like high contrast of light and dark. That
I love.
Yeah.
I'm an El Greco fan. Like
yeah.
I love
like
contrast.
That is, I can see how that's present in the show animation and the style.
Yeah. And yeah, so just last note too, like most studios and most cartoons these days, a lot of the animation work itself is actually distributed out to smaller studios. So shout out to Digital Emation from Seoul. They did a lot of the animation work on this. What's interesting too that I found is Nick Cross was also very like he hoarded some of the work instead of giving it to the studio because he's like, this is such a weird project and such a weird ask.
Like probably never work on something like this again.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
And like he gives the studio credit. He's like, they did a great job. But like I can imagine like the Highwayman dance. I can imagine they hung on to that for themselves to animate. Because like imagine trying to give it to another team and being like, we want to mimic this, historical moment in animation.
Yeah.
And like do this kind of dance and like just do it ourselves. Like they're animators. They know how to do it.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting because by and large, most animation is just contracted out to other studios. It's not actually done by the people who run the show. So I found it interesting that they actually did some of it themselves too.
Yeah.
Anyway, that is Over the Garden Wall.
We did it.
I hope now that you have a little bit more history of animation in your noggin, I hope you have a bit of a bigger appreciation for what the show is, even if you don't like it.
I respect the vision and the effort for sure. And yeah, I mean, as you know, I love a, I guess just for context sake, TV show that makes choices, capital C choices.
Yes.
And many of those were made here. They just weren't my preferred choices. And I know, like once I started getting into it, I was like, oh, this is like the genre of, horror suspense where it's just like it's intentionally just trying to make you feel uneasy the entire time. Yeah. And I just don't enjoy feeling that way. So that's why I didn't like it. But yeah, pretty crazy. Like I did like hearing about what a unique project this was. And yeah, I can see your point about like it would be kind of crazy for a network, whether it's Cartoon Network or somebody else, to do another project like this. Although it did like really work for them for this one.
Oh yeah.
So maybe they would do it again. But also I could see something, or like, you know, animated miniseries like this just going to Kickstarter or YouTube.
Yes.
You know, somewhere off.
I think that's really the only place where it could exist anymore.
Yeah.
I think I read somewhere that Cartoon Network has shuttered their animation studio.
Have they?
Yeah. So again, if you don't know, in Hollywood, a lot of these networks don't actually like produce their content themselves. Other people produce it and they buy the rights to distribute it.
Yeah.
Which is why a Netflix original show could be The Good Place in the UK, but it's actually on like what? NBC here.
Yeah.
But it's called a Netflix original in the UK because Netflix bought their distribution rights. So that's how it works. But historically, a lot of these studios did have their own animation branches.
Yeah.
I think currently a lot of them are now shuttered.
Wow.
In favor of like the labor overseas that's a lot cheaper.
Yeah. Crazy.
So yeah, the only way it could exist, like you said, is like through a Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Or a YouTube channel that has somehow enough money to pull it off.
Yeah, I could see something like this. And, you know, if they used Over the Garden Wall as like a reference or a, you know, like we're trying to make something like this kind of thing, I could see people supporting that. But yeah, it would be a very like grassroots kind of way.
Absolutely. Anyway,
So
thanks for taking this journey with me.
we did it. We made it through the animation.
Woo! We got one last thing to do
topic.
though.
Oh, we do.
Ratings.
We do have to do ratings.
Did you come prepared?
What do you think? No.
Never.
No. Did you?
I did, yes.
Okay.
I'll let you have a moment because I got to text Kayla.
For sure. Okay, I got one. It's kind of a pun.
Okay. Ooh. Let's hear it.
All right.
What's your rating for Over the Garden Wall?
Over the Garden Wall is getting 1 out of 1 crazy midsummer night's dreams.
I like it. I like it. Sorry, I'm just like appreciating the layers.
Thank you.
My rating is as many bizarre character introductions as you can shake a stick at.
True.
It's not out of anything. It's just too many.
Just too many. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right, that is Over the Garden Wall. Amanda, what's coming next?
What is coming next? We are switching gears back to
What are we doing? WandaVision.
WandaVision. It's the finale, baby.
That's right.
Yeah, we're almost done. We've done our therapy episode, taking Wanda through the eras of her life, figuring out that Agatha is Agatha and she is up to no good. Yeah, so we're going to do this finale. What is the finale called?
Oh, shoot.
I have the episode list here, actually. It's just called the series finale.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because we've been playing around with these TV-themed episode titles. So, yeah, we're going to find out what happens. Any predictions?
I did have a few more because I was mulling
Yes,
things.
of course.
Which is primarily, I kept coming back to the quote from Monica. Boom, remembered her name.
Yeah! Wow, impressive.
Rambo. I'm never going to forget it now.
Love it.
I'm going to
love that
forget
for
it.
you.
I kept coming back to her and the quote that she said of, if Wanda is the source, she has to be the solution.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So I'm sure there's going to be a showdown because Monica has superpowers now.
True.
So some kind of showdown.
Well, and Agatha's in the mix now.
Yeah. So I don't know. Are they going to fight? They're going to team up together and fight Agatha? I don't know.
Like literally the end of episode 8, Agatha has the boys.
Right. By
hostage,
the throats.
basically.
Yeah.
Vision is somewhere.
How did it take him? Doesn't he have super speed?
Yeah. Presumably he's gonna show up at some
He's
point.
taking his sweet time.
Yeah. He flew off, right? He flew off.
Yeah, but you can fly, man.
Yeah.
Bird's eye. Darcy's got to catch up at some point. She's driving in a shitty truck.
She's driving a truck. Yeah.
If I swear to God, if it's like Vision gets there and then a few seconds later Darcy pulls up, I'm gonna be so mad.
I can tell you that doesn't happen.
Okay, good. No, some kind of showdown. I guess a 3-way fight, and then eventually like them teaming up together to. Well, no, because
Wait, who teaming up?
Monica would immediately be on Wanda's side to like save the kids. But she got attacked by Pietro.
Yeah.
That's right. He's in the mix too.
Right.
What is he?
What is he? What is he?
Because she can't make life. She can only do like necromancy or illusions.
Yeah.
But like in order to do an illusion, you would still need a thing. Unless Pietro is the bunny rabbit somehow.
Oh, that's interesting.
Nah, that can't be right.
I kind of like it though.
Anyway, showdown. Eventually Monica is probably going to like therapize Wanda and like talk her through it, and then Vision too, and then Wanda's going to be like, but if I let this go, that means Vision and the kids die. And they're going to be like, yes, you have to let them go. And Vision's going to be like, you have to let me go, Wanda. I'm dead. You got to move on.
Yeah.
Build a new life. Yes.
Okay. All right. We also, just one other thing I want to point out, we also found out at the end of episode 8 that Wanda is the Scarlet Witch.
Which means nothing to me.
And this was something that Agatha, like, proclaimed about her.
Yeah.
So, that's happening.
Again, I'm just like, yes.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Okay.
Oh, wait, no. Hold on.
Okay.
The dick. What's his name?
Hayward.
Yeah. That asshole.
What's going to happen to him?
Okay. I'm hoping for the classic Disney comedic beat, but I don't think this is going to happen because he's too involved. But I was hoping for that beat of shows up like all manly and tough and like, we're going to fight. And then they just immediately go.
Like
and then
Indiana Jones him?
Yeah, just like, yeah, exactly. Indiana Jones shoots him, metaphorically. Then he's
or
just
literally,
not
whatever.
in the fight at all.
Yeah. Okay.
But I don't think they do that because they've already invested too much in his character.
Okay.
So, I don't know. He's just going to be a dick and make things worse.
Yeah. I mean, I think, like, our main fight now is Wanda v. Agatha, right?
Yeah.
And then everyone else is kind of in the mix.
Right.
The boys are there, too.
Well, I guess they could use their powers.
They have powers.
They do have powers.
We got, like, a whole super family.
Yeah.
Honestly.
They'll team up together.
Yeah.
Get, like, a sky high thing going on.
A sky high thing. Yeah. That's a poll. Cool. Okay, so basically there's going to be a big fight, but, like, Wanda's going to...
The fight isn't the solution. The fight's just action.
Yeah. Well, like, we do need to take care of whatever Agatha's doing.
Yeah. But that's not the conclusion.
Right. The conclusion is Wanda needs to let go of
she needs
the
to
hex.
Actually grieve, which means letting them go.
All right. That's good enough for me. Yeah, I'm excited to finish the series and then we can start Agatha All Along.
Yeah.
Get to the main event. Just to remind everyone, this has just been like...
This is just a lead up. This
education.
is the preamble.
Yeah, this is the preamble. Yeah, that's very exciting. So yeah, next time we will catch you back here with WandaVision episode 9, the series finale. And until then, you can subscribe to the pod.
Okay, cool.
You can follow us wherever you listen to podcasts.
That's
Spotify,
a lot of places to
Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, follow us.
Etc. Etc. And you can also...
Can people leave comments?
They can leave comments, Kampy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
No, that's just like on YouTube, right?
It is... One of the ways is on YouTube, yes.
Okay, there's more ways than one.
There are more ways than one. You can leave comments on Spotify now.
What the fuck?
Is this annoying? Is this annoying to you guys?
I think it's great.
Maybe we should stop. I don't know.
I did. I mean, I kind of broke the fourth wall last time when I said I left a comment on Spotify. So
it did kind of feel like breaking the fourth wall in a weird way. Yeah, there's that. And you can email us at theshowofpod@gmail.com if you wish to write in and share your opinion with us on any of the shows we have discussed.
Yeah.
But that is all from us for now, and we will see you next time.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of The Show Off. If you enjoyed this one, go ahead and leave us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcast and give us your review of our episode pick for this week's pod. You can also email us at theshowoffpod@gmail.com. See you all next week.